guys, here we are stood outside the beloved MD Global Muscle Studio. Who do we have in the latest episode? We have John Jewett, who's fresh off his 212 Atlanta win, coming to us all the way from Chicago. Then we have Stanimal the morning after he just come third at the Chicago Pro. And finally, we have Milos Sarcev, part 1 of 2, going through all the latest topics. It's really, really good. No fighting this time. And of course, we have the industry's hot news with myself and Big D, Derek Clark. Okay then, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Check it out. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On The Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And for some strange reason, we are joined by John Jewett all the way from Chicago.
Whoa! All right. Thanks for having me. I'm out of Chicago. I'm a Texan, but I came out here to Chicago to actually, it's my birthday weekend, so I'm enjoying the city. And I had planned to maybe compete, but if Atlanta went the way I wanted it to, Renee and I were just going to come out and come eat pizza and donuts. So here I am in Chicago.
So that leads on to my next question, because I was like, well, hang on a minute. If you're not competing in Chicago, what are you doing in Chicago? But of course, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
And also congratulations on winning the Atlanta last week. So, you know, that must be a big weight off your mind to be qualified, get a win, and be qualified for the Olympia on your first go.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. That's what you want. Like in 2021, I ran the point gauntlet and did, show after show and second, third place, second. It's like, when do you cut it off? And finally you have enough points. You're like, well, you can't not go to the Olympia. So it's nice to be one and done. It's also kind of gives you some background of why I took all of 2022 off. But to walk out to Atlanta and have that outcome and have the physique that went on stage, it's a huge relief and it's exciting. Like I'm on fire for bodybuilding again, it feels like. And
also, I mean, I think it's your best conditioning since 2019, because that was a year you got 4th at the Olympia with Kamal, wasn't it, when Kamal won?
Yeah,
you
that's
got
correct.
4th.
Yeah.
You got 4th, and you've been trying to kind of regain that footing ever since. You know what I mean? That was kind of the year you absolutely nailed it. And then I was like, oh, I hope he comes back. I hope he looks as good, as we all do, especially when you've taken time off. You want like John De La Rosa, you want him to come back looking really bloody good, and you did.
Yeah, it was 19. Arguably, for sure, was the balance, right, of being full, having the right condition. Then COVID happened, so the 2020 Olympia prep, I was already qualified. It was kind of a mess. I didn't have the best off season. I wasn't stage ready. I wasn't conditioned, and that broke me. Like mentally, that was really hard to get on stage like that. I almost regret even going to that Olympia. So 21, I'm like, I want to do the first show, Indy, to feel like redeem myself as an athlete, and I came in crazy peeled. But it also misguided me of losing the big picture of looking at myself as a whole. And I sucked down too much and lost a lot of body parts along the way. And so from basically 2020 through 21, I was dieting the whole time. And I was like, you know what? I just need to break, freshen up my physique, have a true off season, grow, and then bring my best 212 version to stage. And that was the goal. Number one, placings, you don't control them, right? But I want to walk on that stage like the confidence I had in 19, knowing I could beat 19. And I truly believe that I did.
Yeah, the thing is, it's always like a bit of a mental barrier. I remember when Valier got, was it 13th at the 2018 Olympia, and it was almost like it was like a bit of a curse, because it's always there. Because you don't want to just look as good as you did in 2019. You're a bodybuilder. You want to progress. You want to be coming back looking better. And I think I knew that you were going to nail it when I saw that picture that you and Renee posted of both doing the glute shot. And I could see in your back. I think you pointed it out, Derek. Derek's making notes, by the way. Yeah, I could see. I was like, okay, then this is because that was like that Dorian, Branch Warren, grainy, you had no tan on, and you could see the skin was paper thin, and if you're looking like that before you've even, I mean, how long was that? Was that a week out, a few days out from the Olympia? Sorry, from the Atlanta?
That one, I think the one you're talking about was 6 days out, but man, I was even like 2.5, 3 weeks out from Chicago. I had that grainy, I could walk on stage probably any moment, and out condition a lot of guys for what we see show up sometimes,
And obviously you really wanted to nail the, because especially if you take time off, you know, you really want to, you'll come back and really, really nail it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's yeah. So yeah, you gotta get that conditioning right, especially if you took time off, you know?
Yeah, that was one thing I was never going to do again from 2020. I was like, I'll never walk on stage not conditioned. I just pushed the show back. Just I don't even want pictures. They last forever, you know. To that be like on record that I was like missed the mark that bad. So my thing now, like, hey, the condition's there. Just make sure you feed enough and you come in full, because that's been the mark. Like, John, just don't. And you've said it too, and Ron said it to me. Like, just don't be so flat on stage.
Yeah.
So that was the next piece is like how the balance, right? How much do you let that little glute line fade for how much fullness you gain without swaying? And then that's the hard part for me coaching myself, honestly, is how much do you give up? Because you don't know how the other guys are going to walk on stage, right? Like, are they going to be like all super conditioned and makes you look soft, or are you going to be the hardest guy and you could get really full and it's okay? So you have to find that balance in the look.
If you're not full, I find with you it's your chest and your sweep on your quads. I find that's the area that seems to go on you. That to me tells me you're flat. If you're, like I said, because your chest is good, but it you know, if it's flat, it doesn't look good, you know?
No, I agree. Like like when I'm doing assessments, like I'll look at front lat spread because there won't be any lines throughout.
Yeah.
That most muscular shot fades pretty quick. And I think just the sacrifice of coming down to 212 and sitting down there, I start to lose my legs kind of either way. And that is something to discuss about 212, I guess, once we get there. But you're right. That's kind of the first shots that really lose it, are those front shots up top.
Did you make weight okay?
Yeah. It wasn't a big deal. It's what actually prompted me to do Atlanta was, for one, I didn't know they had all the open classes. I thought it was just masters.
Okay.
So 9 days out, I was sitting on the couch. Renee was about to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to look at this show again. Michaela Aycock was like, John, they have all the divisions, right? So credit to her. And I looked at it, and they're like, oh, man, they do. And it's a 36-hour weigh-in.
Right. Okay, good.
36 hours. So I in Chicago was 18 hours. Like, this is a big advantage to me, because I was sitting around like 214, 215, fasted in the morning, right?
Okay.
So I have to get below 212 and hold that all the way to 5 p.m. and then fill back out. So I made some manipulations and we decided to do the show. I came down into 212 just through like manipulating some stacked PED design, and then also just removing all the fiber and having real small meals the day before weigh-ins. And on weigh-in day, I was right below 212, and I had like 2 meals and half a gallon of water. Mm-hmm. And that sustained me till 5 p.m. before I made weight. So I got a little bit. It's nothing aggressive, nothing crazy that I do. I think anything more than that, I would sacrifice the look and also need probably more time to fill out. But this was by far the most food I've ever put in for after making weight, and it really worked out well, because I ended up coming back up to be about 215 when I walked on stage.
Really? Okay. No, the reason because I always thought you were a guy that I remember we spoke about this before, and you made weight really easily. Because I remember at the 2019 Olympia, I'm sure you were like something like 205 or something. You were like really down, and I was like, so you're not struggling at all to make weight, but now you're saying you know you're really much on the limit. You're ready at 215, so that's quite a big difference, 10 pounds.
Yeah. In 19, I was a little heavier.
Am I getting mixed
closer,
up? Am I getting mixed
yeah,
up?
Yeah. 19,
yeah.
I was a little closer to 212. Wasn't a big deal,
right?
Because also that Olympia weigh-in is in the morning, so that's something to figure in. But through 2020, 2021, I kept dieting, and eventually I got down to 203.
That's right.
And I had no problem making weight. That's fine. But I was just too sucked down. So I absolutely have added some size on. That's the fullness you see.
Yeah.
But I think coming up any higher in body weight, it would probably, and I had this in my mind about doing open. I talked about it because I think any higher I would have to, and it's just too much to pull down and not that you can recover from is the thing.
I did hear a rumor that you were thinking or maybe going to do an open show.
Yeah, if my body weight was any like above 217 in the mornings, I consider doing it. And I think like with some of the manipulations I made to get down to weight, I wouldn't have made those
Yeah.
to do open. And honestly, I should have come out here to Chicago and just done the open. I think about it, but it was such a quick turnaround. But I think I have a pretty complete physique. Standing next to a very larger stature guy, that of course would be challenged. But I am throwing around the idea, and I haven't said this anywhere. So this is it. This is for you, Giles.
Are we recording?
Yes, we are.
Thank God for that.
Hold John to it.
Yeah,
now.
come on.
Only if it makes sense. Like obviously, all the cards are into Olympia, but to do Legion Sports Fest.
Okay.
As it's 4 weeks before the Olympia, so I have some downtime.
Nice.
I can feed and recover. And if I'm stage ready that early, jump into the open and just see how it fares.
Yeah.
The 212 guy has nothing to lose, right?
Hang on. Tony O'Burton, Kamalo Gargny have tried it. Sean Clarida led the charge at the Legion in 2021. You know, there's guys that, like yourself, who are you're kind of ready. Maybe you would look a bit better as an open with those. Just so, of course, you can look better with a few pounds to play with. You know? And I mean, obviously, there's been guys, like I said, Angel Calderon, I was there at the Big Man Weekend, that are kind of, like you said, 4 weeks out from a 212 show, I'm kind of 215 ready, 220. What have I got to lose by... And, you know, and I to be honest, as a fan, whatever, I just want to see you bring the best version of your physique. So if that means you come in at 218 and doing an open show before the Olympia, then that's what I want to see.
Yeah, me too. That's what I told Renee this year. Like, hey, I just want to put my best physique on stage.
Yeah.
If the 212 sacrifice is going to take that away, then I'll just do open, you know. But I was close enough. But I still want to do open. I still want to see how that look is and see how I fare.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other view that Renee brought up, she's like, mentally, how would you handle it if you went out there and you're second call out and then you're going to go to Olympia? Like, what would that mentally do for you?
You're already qualified. Sorry to interrupt, but you're already qualified. You've got nothing to lose, mate. And like, now what if you go in and what if you do? I don't know what you're expecting, but what if you go in and bloody win the show? I mean, you know. And you look at your photo and you go, oh, I kind of look so much better. Like then you're faced with another decision after that 212 Olympia is done. Yeah,
no, I thought about that too. Like it's not without reason that I could do a top five, or for some of these guys like Tony O'Burton, he won New York. He was 218.
Yeah,
we've seen Jason Lowe. He's what 215.
Yeah.
A top five open guy. It's like you could do it, and so. I very well, you know, I'm in Chicago having fun, but I'm very well will have that tentatively on the calendar and to potentially do it. And I think it only builds steam into Olympian excitement, right? Like you're going to have this 212 Olympia guy jumping into Legion the Open. So it's a little frustrating because 212 is not talked about a lot. Like a lot of the open guys get a lot of the attention, so I think it just draws more interest and makes it exciting for myself and also for all the fans too. So I would potentially be doing Legion.
Awesome, and I think this is why I really admire Sean Clarida for doing what he did. Like after coming second at Olympia, when I heard he was doing Legion, I was like, oh, he's pissed off. This is the bad decision. This is the bad move for him. Comes in 174, 3-4 pounds lighter and wins it, beating Regan, beating Sergio. And that really got conversations going for the 212. I actually wrote about it in my MG column, and it basically saying, look, you can no longer consider the 212 ever a B League. You can't, because guys like Sean Clarida are proving, you know, Angel Calderon, Kamal, bloody, arguably really should have beat Akeem at Tampa last year. And he was only a few pounds over 212. I mean, it's like these guys now, like yourself and 212s looking to do open, you know, they're not just holding their own. They're actually going in and bloody winning.
Well, it makes you then at that point, the way things are being judged, I think if we roll back to like early 2000s, I don't know if you could have 212 guys stepping on stage and getting those placings. Now, fast forward now, the way things are judged, it's I think the judging is extremely fair.
Yeah.
And that makes you question, should there even be a 212? Because you now have a fair comparison, like stature for stature. If these guys are just as filled out, they can win shows. So now, what is the divide between 212 and open? I know that's a big discussion to be had, but it's encouraging for like a lot of these 212 guys. Like, hey, do an open show, you know.
And it also varies from athlete to athlete. Like Kamal told me, he said, I'm ready at, is it 220, 225? I forget, was it 220 or 225? And he said, Giles, the only reason, like he's doing the Masters Olympia, he's doing the Open.
Yeah.
And I said, so why don't you do the 212? He says, I'm never doing 212 again. He says, to be honest, because the main reason is, he says, I look better as an Open. He says, I feel better on stage. I'm bringing a better physique. He says, and to be honest, the main reason, he says, I'm 51. He says, I don't want to put that stress on my body, pulling it down to 212 for the guys that really, like, imagine, I mean, Flex Lewis told me once the stress from 2014 to 2018. He said the stress he had from 4 weeks out at 225, knowing that he was stage ready, to then know that you've got to pull another 13 pounds off that. He said every year, he said it weighed, ironically, you know, pardon the pun. He said it really weighed on me. He said how stressful it was that, he said I used to wake up in the middle of the night having, you know, like bloody bad dreams and nightmares about not making weight, you know? So there's guys that like literally are looking their best, you know, but like I said, then you get someone like Clarida that comes in lighter and he's still 30, 40 pounds under and he's bloody still winning.
I mean, so you talk about health, right? I mean, some of the unhealthy and dangerous consequences around bodybuilding are those acute settings around making weight, and then right after the show, all the rebound. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily like all the things that we do otherwise, but you have guys that immediately have deaths just from these electrolyte water imbalances. Yeah. So to not have to pull down, it very well could be a healthier route to go for some of these guys that aren't close to that weight cap. I imagine the mental side it weighs a lot too, because you see your best version, right? Like Flex Lewis, and you know that's going to fade. And you're like, how much is going to fade this year? Well, that's a lot to handle.
I mean, imagine being like Flex Lewis and knowing that pretty much only Neil Hill and one or two of your training partners ever actually got to see physically the best version of your physique in a gym somewhere when the gym's shut and there's like, that's it. I mean, that must hurt him knowing that he had to strategically, you know, do something to make a weight so he could compete in a category that basically he knew that he had to win, really, to kind of, you know, it's, I can't imagine how, you know, the dilemma of having to deal with that every single year.
Oh man, Giles, you're firing me up for the Open. You're giving me, you're giving me that nut.
Teasing him.
Bring the best. Bring the best. So, that your encouragement will weigh in for sure.
Well, we've actually we're speaking to Milos, and one of the subject, and I'm speaking to Patrick Tour next week, and one of the things that kind of I wanted. Do you know what? I've actually copied it off you because I saw your video about making weight.
Okay.
I'll actually put it out there. This topic of this topic that I'm covering in the Power Hour and Global Muscle, I actually took it from your video because I saw that you did a podcast about making weight. And I think, because now you've got the men's physique now having to make weight, you know, now that they've implemented this new ruling, because obviously the men's physique we're getting too big. You've got 212s that some guys have to make weight and struggle to make weight and have to do things to make weight, like guys like yourself who are ready maybe at 220. You've got the classic, you know. So there's a lot more people and a lot more coaches having to learn about how to make weight if they struggle to make weight. And of course, as you know, like with deaths going on in the industry and there's a lot of things that a lot of these kind of maybe uneducated people like you, I think you do a really good job with that John Jewett University.
Yeah, thank you.
I watch your videos, honestly, that comes up on my feed every morning when I'm sat on the toilet and I listen to, I watch them. They're really, really good. And I think that to have that kind of scientific explanation, do you know what I mean? It's like, we don't want to hear bro science. We don't want to hear, and the thing is also, we don't want to hear coaches that don't care about the health of their athletes, only the results, saying just do some IV Lasix. Do you know what I mean? Just don't drink any water for. I remember I was with it was Kamal in 2002 in Greece, and we went for some. He won the NABBA Worlds overall, and he drank 2 cans of Coke right after the show. I said, "Bloody, you thirsty, mate?" And he said, "Well, I haven't drank water for 2 days." Like, that's proper old school. That's not just old school. That's dangerous. So there's people doing stuff like that. And, you know, the lights and the venues and people are dying, mate.
No, it's that's been a huge message to put out around how can we continue bodybuilding, do it in a risk reduction manner, because you're taking risk within absolute means, but there's also a place not to take it to where resulting these deaths. And I think ignorant on coaches. For one, not informing your athletes of like what's going to be happening and what's within reason, especially newer athletes. You don't know. So we're in an information age, which is awesome because a lot of stuff was taboo. Like you would get kind of shamed for even talking about it. I remember an old coach was like, "Hey, John, don't talk about any like water retention or blood pressure. Like you don't want to look like you're unhealthy." And so, but we're now, it's different now. Yeah. It's like I can be completely transparent and it doesn't affect what happens on the stage or what the judges are judging around about talking about PED approaches and things. Because they want everyone to be safe as well. So I think trying to do something around risk reduction and where we shouldn't be taking athletes within reason needs to be out there, and that's what I've tried to do within J3 University. Is just put out my transparent information of what I've learned along the way, and people pick it up. And it's been, when I go to shows, it's not like, John, take a picture with me. You have a crazy physique. It's more like, John, you impacted my coaching or my athletes or myself about my process. So it's been extremely meaningful. Like, I think that will be more of my legacy than whatever I've done competitive wise. And I love it. I love educating people. So that's something that that's my baby. I love. I put all my time into.
I've said that before. I say to these athletes, coaches, I said, look, what do you want your legacy to be? Now imagine, like, you prep a lot of different athletes. So imagine you've got the dilemma, right? You've got an athlete that's ready at 218 and he's a 212. And you're thinking, this show coming up, okay, then realistically, I could do something really drastic to this guy to get him into the 212. I've seen the list. I think he could win. He's got a good chance of winning it. Or I bring him in safely at 218 or 220, still bring him in good. Don't do anything dangerous that will, gamble with his health, or he's probably going to be lucky to make second call out. Like a lot in a results-driven industry, and kind of, it basically results and how you look and how you do is seemingly for a lot of people all that matters. Like, you can see why some of these coaches that, think, oh, well, I'll just, you can see what they're faced with over and over again.
Yeah, I think we just, like, us even having this conversation of talking about what athlete stage weights actually are and what athletes are actually winning shows at. It's like, we're in a great day because, like, with Tyler Mannion, with him judging, he'll give you a fair shot even if you don't have to be at the top of the weight class. Like, even when I was at USA as I turned pro, I was 209 the morning of show in the 225 class. Wow. So don't think a weight is going to be best. It's what does the physique look like at that weight? And you very well could be at your best being a little bit higher. We have so many shows present too. So, I mean, you could even bring in the option as a coach of like, hey, let's do a show, the higher body weight. And if the outcome's not there, well, we could consider pulling down from there. So you can get a gauge on both those looks. But I say, like, if you pulled all the tricks and you're still like 1 to 2% above your weigh-in weight on weigh-in day. So say I was 212 and I'm still like 214, 215 in the morning, and I've already pulled all the fiber out. I've made all the adjustments with gear that need to happen. I said that's already too much, because that's going to be based around just pulling water, diuretics, things like that, where a little shift in fluids like that is extremely dangerous, and it's so hard to come back from. The water manipulation is hard to come back from over like carb depleting and those type of manipulations. So that's usually my guiding thing, and probably what you saw, Giles, of what I put out. And at that point, move up a division. That's time to push on. And we're bodybuilders. You never want to improve again?
You've read I was just about to say, it's bodybuilding. It's a sport of progression. And yes, it's like, I'm sad that we never got to see the 225 version of Flex Lewis, because thing is, you take that and then you think, okay, he made a decision to stay in that division and then just go for the record. And he got 7 wins. That's down history as the greatest, and he's made himself, that's his legacy. And then you've got the example of what Derek Lunsford did last year, going, do you know what? I spoke to him at the seminar thing on the Sunday, him and his wife after the show at the Olympia. And I was speaking to his wife, and she said as his partner, she said he was eating kale salads after last year's Olympia when he won the 212. She said, and he was still growing. She said, we were trying to restrict him so much. She said, and he was miserable. He couldn't eat. So they just said, and then he said to Hanny, Hanny said, right, don't let your body weight get above 230. Gets to 230, hits 240, don't get above 240. 250. Don't get above 250. And he hit 260 in the hand. He said, right, we're going open. He said, this is ridiculous. He says, your body clearly wants to grow. So anyway, my point is, Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford 1 and 2 at the Olympia. Like you're saying about Tyler Mannion giving the lighter athletes a more of a shot. That's the top 2 guys are X212s.
Yeah. And it's not the first time either, right? We have like William Bonnick has done it. He's moved up.
Yep.
I remember at the 2018 Arnold, Derek and I were both animal athletes, and he showed up, first time meeting Derek in the hotel lobby. He walks in and just round delts and arms. I'm like, how is this guy 212?
Yeah.
Like, Derek, what do you weigh?
He was a lot smaller then as well. I mean, he was like, I mean, when he went, maybe see he was a welterweight, and he like that guy is just, he's just done that, isn't he, in terms of his body weight and his size, and I don't think he's even done yet growing.
Derek was 260 in that offseason in 2018.
No,
his body was just there.
Really,
easily pushing up.
Wow.
Now it's probably a little softer 218, but either way, Giles, his body wanted to take off and grow. It was just it's that genetic crazy level. You put it all together now, and that's what we see on stage. Top level open bodybuilder. It's pretty incredible.
And going back to what we were saying before we started talking about this, the like Sean Clarida at the Legion, like he didn't think, like you'd think maybe, like I know 212s that have jumped into open shows and they've gone, right, I've got to come in as heavy and full as possible, and they come in and they look like shit.
Soft.
Sean Clarida dropped 4 pounds from the Olympia from 177 to 174. And that was what won him the show, because, it goes against the logic of what most of these guys would maybe think would do well as a 212 competing as an open. So that was smart. That was brave. It was brave, but it worked.
I mean, I get it. Like you want to be bigger, but you're 212. You're not going to compete with some guy that's 260. Yeah. So play your best card. I mean, for a lot of us at 212, like we all come pretty conditioned. Bring that. 1 or 2 pounds isn't going to make up the difference muscularity, fullness wise, versus 1 or 2 pounds softer is a big difference, right?
Yeah.
Like come hard as nails and with enough fullness, but don't sacrifice on condition just because you see some open guys, because you'll expose those open guys that don't come in sharp. We see them, right? Like it's kind of crazy how soft some of these guys come. So play your card that's to your advantage.
I've never seen anyone say, oh, I really regret coming in sharper for that last show. Oh, man, that was such a bad decision, coming in shredded for that show and better than the one before, when I was soft as a baby's ass,
Yeah, I was way too hard. You ever hear that feedback? Dude, you're way too hard. Soften it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest, I saw that picture. It's funny because I was scrolling and I saw the picture of you with your arm around a lady's waist. And I was like, who the hell's that? That's not, and it was Renee. Actually, I didn't recognize her with the hair. I was like, wait till I tell Renee about this. And it was, yeah. So she's obviously, because, I mean, she started off in wellness because she did that 1 or 2 figure shows. And she's now moving to wellness. So just update us quickly on Renee and what she's up to, man.
Yeah, Renee. She's like sitting over here
watching. Oh, yay!
Perk up. She wanted me to tell you hi. She took the whole year off with me.
Okay.
And wanted to grow because she competed in 2021, and feedback was like, hey, you need more glutes still, and that wellness division is quickly developing as well to be a little bigger as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what she took time off for. She's like, I want to step on and be just undeniable, like knockout. I want to go to the Olympia and be a top contender. So, all right, let's grow. So she was prepping, and Renee's a real freak to prep. Like I give her the same amount of time that I did. She prepped in like 14 weeks, just body fat ripping off. And so we're like, let's do an earlier show for you. Mm-hmm. So we did the Republic of Texas in Austin, went out there. And the big thing she wanted, like me, was to bring a better version of herself and feel confident walking on stage. And she absolutely did. She was extremely happy with the stage look. Everything she brought. It was such a great experience for her. She didn't quite have that in a lot of the shows she done. She turned pro during COVID.
Yeah.
Then in 21, she competed with getting COVID on one of these preps. So she's had hard preps. So she just like, I just want a good one. And she did. She ended up getting second place out there in Austin, stood next to a great girl, good competitive lineup. But for her, it's not about just going to Olympia. It's about going and being a top contender. So she wanted to go back into off season and just keep growing, improving.
Oh, wow.
And to be honest, like with Renee, she doesn't know if she wants to continue. She loves the process, loves the lifestyle, but getting on stage is not a huge thing for her. It's not that fulfilling. She doesn't love it like me. I love getting on stage. Like I am like fired up for it. It's not the same for her. So I don't know. I don't know where Renee will be. She's post show trying to process a lot if this is right for her to keep taking it all the way to stage, but she just loves to train. And that's why I think we've seen Renee make such great improvements, because she loves the day-to-day process.
Yeah, I remember you saying she's a total beast in the gym. Like she's a fantastic to train with. Like she just takes to a prep really easily. To be honest, I'll be honest, I didn't even recognize her physique had transformed that much. No, seriously, that's why I thought it was a different woman. I was like, because obviously the hair's different. She had the blonde hair, and I didn't recognize her. I was like completely top to toe. I didn't even recognize her physique. That's how much she transformed and improved.
Well, Renee's really new to this too. Like right when wellness started, like she hadn't competed in like 6 years. She did one figure show and it was a mess.
Yeah.
So she basically met me and was like, I told this other podcast I was talking to, it's like getting dropped into Mexico for Spanish immersion, right? Like you're going to learn a language.
Yeah.
So you get dropped into my house and we're like full on bodybuilding. So there wasn't much of a learning curve that needed to happen. It was just an accelerated gas pedal down of like improvements. So she's only been competing for the past like 2.5 years. So she's really new to it. There's a lot more to pull out of her physique. I'm excited to get her on stage, but it's just a matter of if that's going to be right for her.
I must say I'm disappointed to not see her in any Marvel films.
Me too, because I
come on.
probably would just be kicking back and taking in paychecks, right?
Come on, man. When we spoke last time about like doing some movies, I could just completely see her in a Marvel or a DC superhero film. I think that's because Jamie the Giant, now he's doing the Gladiators. He's on the TV. Yeah, they've relaunched the UK show Gladiators, and I mean that's perfect for his personality. And I said I put in the magazine. I said the next step for him. I said I can see it now. Is movies. I said this is the first step of many. And I'm telling you, I think Renee's got that same star quality that I think she would take to something like that. And I think she would be. I think there's definitely something worth looking into there, mate.
Yeah, Giles says you might need to be a movie star, Renee.
Marvel movies, Marvel
she's
superhero. Me and Renee have talked about
camera shy.
Me and Renee have talked about this before. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, she's super camera shy, but there's something. She'll find something that she absolutely loves and passionate about, and take it all the way with that. So
good. Well, it was good to see you back as well, because it's like I said, you're like top 5 in the Olympia, and then things weren't quite. Because the thing is, once that's your new starting point. Shit, you're 4th in the Olympia. I mean, what's the next step? Top 3, winning the Olympia, and then that year, was it 15th you got the year after?
13th.
13th.
That's then 9th. And I will say, since that time, there's like kind of been a new crop of guys that have come in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's different. It's hard to compare placings, right? But yeah, I have to. That's my goal. Like go to 212 Olympia, and I want at least top 3.
Yeah.
And then do an open show and at least top 5. And that's at least some outcome-based goals. But the big one, Giles, like if you do this long enough, you have to just truly be able to walk on stage like a better version, because you might have younger guys coming up that are moving faster than you can, and you might have placings go down, even though you're bringing a improved of yourself. But if that's the goal of the year, it is. That's what I have laid out. I want top 3 in Olympia at 212. I want to do this open show and really make a statement and hang with guys. Then after that, I might just be done with 212 because it might just be too hard to come down to. And I think if I saw out that best version of myself at 212, I could check that box and walk away.
The job's done, isn't it? The job's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I always wonder what it's like for athletes when they overcome an injury. Do you know what I mean? And so to go from 4th to 15th, I think it takes a lot of mental fortitude to really dust yourself off and kind of really pull yourself back Because that's really going to mess with your head. 4th to 15th, it's like shit. There's going to be a lot of doubts and a lot of negative emotions going through your mind. But to like come back like you did this year, like you're kind of like an underdog again. Do you know what I mean? You kind of come around full circle. So it's good to see someone come back like John De La Rosa. I was really happy to see him back.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Me too.
Isn't it great to see guys that you maybe haven't thought about for a few months, and then, you just get always the sport moves so fast. So to see you come back to Atlanta, and win so dominantly, because that was a really good show as well. It was a really good lineup.
No, solid. Like you had all the guys from New York Pro.
Yeah.
Right. You had Diego, Jose Marta, Jason, Frankie's a new guy that just turned pro, and he's going to be really solid. You basically had the New York lineup, and they were good guys. So, and I brought it. Like the judging feedback was phenomenal, and they said the same thing that Derek had said about my back. Like, man, your back. You turned around. That was it. So, for me, I see it as like guys go kind of two ways, right? They can crumble under defeat and just give up, or it just fuels them with fire, and that's how I've always been. Like, it angers me that like nothing to like a judge or competitor, just my own like personal drive of like the standard I want to bring, my competitiveness with myself, to just get right back in the gym and just do what needs to be done to bring it to stage next time. And that 2020 Olympia, just it weighs in my mind always, like never again. So I'm always fueled. And once I don't have that feeling gone on the day-to-day love for bodybuilding, that's when I'll know it's probably time to walk away, because that's probably when the leveling up will start getting more limited.
Yeah. I think well, for you, as a fan, whatever, bodybuilding media guy, whatever, anyone can see that you really love bodybuilding. So for you to kind of come back, maybe, it's hard to come back and try and reestablish yourself. And because for me, I think that look in Atlanta was better than the 2019 Olympia. Yeah, I agree. I think it was a more solid, more mature, more dense, more complete overall look. I think if you compare the photo, do us a favor, post some pictures of that Olympia next to the new, because I think even if you haven't seen them directly side by side, I think even you'll be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. We're waiting on some stage pics to come through, but I absolutely, I compare all that stuff to see. To mark progress down, but I do believe, it's improved. Like there's posing, you can improve in so many ways in bodybuilding. Posing, my tanning, that stuff matters. Yeah, I've been a mess with tanning before. You wouldn't see it in some of these pics. I was a muddy mess at finals at 2019 Olympia. I finally figured that out. And it was just all around just really well polished. So I think it is a better version than 19. Yeah, that's such a good point. Your color was very good at Atlanta. It was very good. And I think that's something I actually look for as well. I mean, as a media guy, because these little differences, and because some guys, you see the same guys and they're always messing. Dennis Wolf, I remember buying him a vodka and triple vodka and Red Bull at the Prague show one year. I said, that's for getting your tan right. I said, because it's stress, because you put all that prep in, and then literally your tan's messed up, and it must be such a frustrating thing to get wrong, But sometimes it's harder for some people than it is for others. It's like bodybuilding and getting in condition. Yeah, like I am close friends with like a girl that's high up in Pro-Tan, Alyssa, that she's given me like the exact formula of like, hey, we have to hand paint John. Like she'll call ahead, be like, listen, we hand paint him at this time, and then this time again he rinses, and then for show day there's a routine. But also I tan in a tanning bed, which I hate doing, but I did it, and that made having a good base made a really good difference as well. And also, picking some of these shows, it mattered to bring my best. I want it documented, which it drives me crazy when you go to a show and they don't have great coverage for like a photographer, or the lighting's not set up right. So when I saw like Atlanta, nothing worse. Lenda Murray's show, right, Wings of Strength, took her 15 years to get that show. That's her baby. Like, and it's an athlete that puts it on. So, the production side is going to be really, really good. Like they give us free 4K live footage. Wow. Of the videos, which is awesome. That's good. And I've seen some of the photography stuff that's going to be coming out, and they just did an excellent job. So that really prompted me to want to do it, because you want good stage pictures. And where you pick a show, because it fits your timeline, right? But then you get these crappy photos back. You're like, man, I looked better than that. And we have like media, right, that is going to judge you off those photos and be like, oh yeah, he looked a bit flat, you know. He's like, no, it's like the fucking lighting in the photo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Well, you've got in America, you've got Gilco Productions, you know, and you've got people of that level of, you know, that sort of quality of, and we in Europe we've got a guy called Jonathan Morio Photos, and he's kind of duplicating that. Like, you know, literally every competitor gets there in their inbox of like this quality video that they can then post. And the thing is, it's good for everyone. It's good for the sport, good for the industry. And it's like these things are quickly becoming, and they should be quickly becoming the standard. Do you know what I mean? Because it helps everyone. So, John, I'm going to have to let you go, mate, because we've got Mr. Milos Sarcev on very, very soon. And we need to take a deep breath for that one, because that one's going to be intense. So Derek's we're gonna have to give him some coffee or something, because it's gonna be great. But do you know what, mate? I was really happy to see you come back this year. Happy to see you do well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you'll be doing at the Olympia as well, mate. Because also, and I'm very curious to see how you'll look as an open, because it's like part of me almost doesn't want to see you look so much better as an open, because then that means you're done with 212. So, and like I said, I think there's still unfinished business there. So, but I'm sure you're on the case for both divisions, mate. So I just want to wish you all the very best for this year, mate. Thank you so much for giving us this interview whilst you're on vacation, technically. You know? No,
I always appreciate getting on with you guys, and you know, thanks for the coverage for all divisions, because it's sometimes limited, and following us along, being a fan that you are. So it means a lot just so I can spend some time here and chat with you. And I plan this year to bring it hard and bring it the best, and live up to what the expectations are for the fans and myself. But after this year, yeah, that might be it, Giles, for 212. So you might get what you want.
Okay. All right then, mate. And also just say hello to Renee for us. And I think Lauren, I know she's a bit shy about interviews, but I think Lauren definitely would love to get on her show. So maybe if we can twist her arm in a few weeks' time, that would be absolutely wonderful. And I think they'd really get on well as well. So yeah, so enjoy the rest of your time in the Windy City. And yeah, and I'll speak to you both very soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, John.
Cheers, John.
We're joined all the way from Chicago the day after the show itself, Longeaux.
Whoa.
There you go.
I said that with some intrepidation there, because I want to make sure I nail your last name, mate.
Nailed it. Like my condition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, AKA Stanimal. Actually, Derek, can you just turn Stan up a little bit? He's a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
All right then, mate. Cool. Just turn him up a little bit. Yeah. So so you got third, mate. How'd you feel?
I mean, I wanted first. That's the only place I wanted. So third is just not what I wanted at all. So no, this last night was a tough one, especially when the last call out finished us with the last comparison. I was in the center. I thought that was it. I got the nod. So I was really surprised when my name was called in third.
To be honest, mate, that was a really, really tight top three, because I was following, my favorite Instagram account is Bodybuilders Without Borders. And I always use that as my gauge. I was going right down, and it was a pretty much equal split between you, De La Rosa, and Justin Shire. It was really close. Have you seen the judging sheets yet? Are you aware of how close it was? Because I imagine you were doing very well at prejudging.
I know, but I was better at finals, to be honest. So that's why I was more surprised when they gave us some more comparison. I was like, okay, that's it. You know, obviously, you know, we all brought something different to the stage. It was definitely close. I thought I played my card 100%. You know, I was trying to, you know, show that much I wanted. Like I really wanted that win. I was first in every pose, at least 5 seconds before everyone else. If you look back, I'm in the pose for like 15, 20 seconds when the others are there in for 5, 10 seconds max. So I'm 5 minutes in the pose, 5 seconds in the pose before, 5 seconds holding it longer at the end like they. And yeah, I did everything I could, honestly. So I have no regrets. You know, I know I need a little more size. You know, I know it was Justin and John's first show. I know it was my third.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe they just give me the nod so I can get a little break and eat a little more, like refill and get ready for the Olympia. knowing that Justin and John are really fresh still, and they could easily keep going, and I think they can improve a little more even on their conditioning still. So I thought that was it. But yeah, so not yet. Just a matter of time, though. I know it's coming. I know I'm on the right track. So I'm gonna keep working.
Good. I think you're the first to really suffer at the hands of them now taking away the point system.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is what it is. The rules are the rules, so I'm not gonna complain about that. I don't mind. Like, I know I had to win to qualify. So.
Well, I think it's certainly since, well, this show and Vancouver and the other one, I think you've certainly now finally cracked the code to, with the size that you have as an open, because I think it's different. You can get, you as a classic and as a men's physique or whatever, you know, you're a certain size and you know how to get in condition, but when you're an open, it's a whole different kettle of fish. It's a whole different ball game. So I think really now you've, you know, the one big step forward is that you've really started to nail that conditioning as an open competitor.
Yeah. I mean, that's more, credit to Patrick than me. Mm-hmm. I'm just executing the plan. So he definitely knows my body well. Right away, since we started working together, we always nail the conditioning, but we just, fine tuning and getting better. Like this year, definitely major improvements. I mean, it's funny because after Vancouver, I was like, after prejudging on Vancouver, I thought, I can't get any better than that. And then I woke up Sunday morning and I was like, whoa, we are better. So, okay, let's do Chicago. And I was like, if I can just bring the same thing in Chicago, that would be great. And I think I looked better as far as before. As far as like the fullness of waking up the day of the show, I was a little more sharp, but my body was a little more tired. I think if I had 2 weeks in between Vancouver and Chicago, it would have been a little better for me. Because flying, Sunday from Vancouver, no, it was Monday. Monday I flew from Vancouver to Vegas to Chicago on Tuesday. So it was a lot of traveling, a lot of things, in 6 days turnaround. So I think my body looked... didn't have that pop that I had in Vancouver. I was missing a little, not as fresh air, if you know what I mean. I'm just, the conditioning was there, the sharpness, but lacking a little more of that density, like the pop, especially like that start to expose, my weaknesses, like my arms, especially when they don't have that pop, they're exposed. So I did what I could, I've done my best, and that's what I can do, right? So I'm happy with that.
So did I just pick up on you saying that you only decided to do Chicago the day after Vancouver?
No, we decided to do, I had planned to maybe do Chicago since the beginning of the season. That was the contract I got. Okay. But, we take it show by show, of course. And after Vancouver, when I talked to Patrick, I was like, let's do Chicago. And his first response was like, I would like a little more time to bring your weight back up. And so it was not the ideal setup for Patrick. Like Patrick would have rather me have a little more time in between. But I was like, Chicago, I lived there for a year. I have a lot of friends there. It's a great show. It's a big show. Tim Garner, Steve Weinberger is judging it. So I'm like, I'm ready. Conditioning is not going to go anywhere. I know that. That's not a problem. It's just trying to nail everything. Execute the plan and trying to stay hydrated on the plane and things like that. And I did everything I could. It just wasn't enough this time.
So what was obviously, from Vancouver and Chicago, what was Patrick's feedback from, like a coach's feedback on how he felt you looked and did, and maybe now what he'll maybe do differently for the future? What did you learn from these two shows?
We just keep fine tuning again. It's just that I have a fast metabolism, so I need a lot of food. Like for Vancouver, we started carving up on Monday with like about 900 and plus grams of carbs a day. Monday, yeah.
Wow, so you got plenty of time to pull it back if you need to, or?
We didn't pull it back. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Until Chicago, we didn't stop. We've been eating the whole, 900 grams of carbs a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really like I think I needed even more food, but I don't think it was even a matter of food. I think it was just, I needed a little more time to recover from the travel, recover from the show, and
that shows you how depleted your body was and how you really pushed it to the limit for Vancouver. If your body is needing that much food to try and just, I mean, by the sounds of it, even to just maintain the fullness, if you're carbing that heavy for that many days, that shows you how down to the wire you really were, mate.
And with Patrick, it's all clean food, so
yeah, no junk,
dirty or out of the ordinary. So
yeah. So what carb sources was he putting you on? What was it? I mean, 900 gram of carbs. What was that from? What sources?
Rice, cream of rice, potatoes, and fruits.
Yeah. So how did you? So how did you feel as well as the week went on? Were you feeling okay, or were you just said you were feeling a little bit tired?
No, I feel great. I mean, I honestly, like, if it's just me, I can keep going. My mind, I just know right now, like, tempo turnaround, I could maybe make it work, but I just have to. I can't make any decision right now. I need to get back home, see how my body starts responding, feeling, and then advise what's the best next move for me. Because this year, I mean, I mentioned it a few times on different interviews. It's really special for me. It's the 5-year anniversary of Sean's title.
Okay, it's 2018.
And the Olympia actually happens on the 2-year anniversary of his passing, November 5th.
Okay.
Like, I was going to be on November 5th. So, and the last Olympia I went with him was in Orlando. So, for me, it's full circle. So, it's really special. I would like to really pay tribute to him, and being able to be back on the Olympia stage now in the Open, it would be really. That's been my drive this season, and. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it happen this year because there's no, reason to rush. And again, I can't decide right now what's next. I need a few days, but it's still in the back of my mind. I just know there's no need to rush just to rush. I know the Olympia stage is going to be there for me very soon.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of doing the right things and keep doing what I've been doing the right things, and taking the time to grow properly and improve from show to show.
So what is this now? Is this your 3rd year as an Open?
Officially third, yeah.
3rd year? Yeah.
Because I jumped in right after the Olympia 2019 as my first show, but it's not like a prep as an Open guy, it's a rebound.
Yeah.
So my 3rd year as a pro, and in Open, and with Patrick, we really have a good track record, to be honest. Like, the first show I got 7th place with him, Legion 2021, and it was that packed up Legion, I did an interview.
Yeah.
No, that was last year I did with you, but it was Sean, Clarita, Regan, Sergio. That year I beat Cedric McKinnon.
Cedric was 8th.
I was Patrick Moore.
Yeah.
It was a really good show. For me, it was a good result. I followed up with top 5, in Toronto that year. Then the year after, we came back to the Legion and got 4th. Mm-hmm. Then we did Brazil. I got 2nd. Then Orlando 3rd, Vancouver 2nd, now 3rd. So it's
I really like the fact you're not afraid to compete, and you're not afraid. Like, your rise, if it was saw on a graph, it's like it's been a nice steady rise, isn't it? It's been, you see, starting at 7th, which in itself is good in your first pro show and your first Open pro show, especially coming over from a different division, and it's just been it's been very, very consistent.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's been my career. I don't make huge leaps, but I definitely make significant improvement from year to year. And it starts to really pay off.
How old are you now, mate?
I turned 35 this year.
See, that's a good age, really, to be kind of, and finding the right division for you and making sure that, and the thing is, you've already made an impact. Like I said, you've got a good, 7th in the Legion 2021 was a good starting point, and now you're building on that really, really nicely. I mean, you're getting 2nds and 3rds, and you're a first call out guy in any show you do now. So that's a big thing, to separate you.
Absolutely. No, that's definitely a huge step, and I feel like last 2 shows especially, there's definitely another level of recognition that I'm getting when I get to these shows, and I get a fair look, and I also get a lot of excitement from people like other competitors. Because I've competed with everybody. Men's physique class. All these guys are rooting for me. They're like, you're like, you want to do that, we've been with you, we want to see you do well. So it's really cool to have all this energy. Like, even yesterday backstage, a lot of the guys who were competing against me in Open, they wanted me to win.
Did they? Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Eric Ramirez, Longeaux, they were all like, they were really rooting for me. It was special, but I'll deliver soon enough.
And the thing is, like, and you think about, you were very, very close to Hassan last week, mate. I think that's probably the best Hassan I think we've ever seen. I think arguably, in terms of the package he brought, and it was after the prejudging, there was a real debate on, people were split. It wasn't like, it was pretty much 50-50. Like this could go either way, and this guy is a monster.
Yeah, especially people who were there in person. I mean, the lighting was great at that show, so we got great videos, like the background, everything. It came out really nice, so people got get a good idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, the size was, a big difference, but it's one of the biggest guys in the league, so I think I held my own pretty well against him. I pushed him a little, but yeah, it's it just was not enough. It was his best. Some people are talking about him being a top 10 Olympian, so
yeah,
it's definitely not an easy task, and that's why, I knew going into Chicago, there would be nobody that big, so I had a better shot, and so I played my card.
I mean, to think that an ex-men's physique guy, how many years ago was it men's physique you did? How many years?
2016 was my last show in men's physique.
So 7 years later, you're now, going toe-to-toe, delt-to-delt with someone that really is pound for pound probably the biggest pro in the Open today, and he was absolutely shredded. I mean, that in itself is like that's impressive, mate. That's impressive.
Thank you. Well, I've been to good school, with Sean, and always learn how to, stay in my own lane.
Yeah.
And play your card. Don't try to play someone else's game. Mm-hmm. Patrick is the same, it's like, okay, we got lines, we got condition, like let's play those cards 100%. We'll never be the biggest guy on stage, so it's not trying to blow up. Yeah, just keep the proportions, keep improving slowly and steady. Like, I know I'm 35, so people may think I don't have much time, like, maybe 40, but I know I have at least a good 10 years in front of me because I've been taking care of my body.
100%.
I do a lot of therapy, massage work, hyperbaric chamber, infrared sauna, like anything you call it, like I do it. So yeah. I spend hours and hours a week on that stuff. I'm prepared. I have a long-term vision, so I know I have many years in front of me still. And with Patrick, we're really not pushing the drugs at all. It's not the focus. It's doing everything right, do the training right, be consistent, improving performance in the gym, staying with the clean diet. I haven't had a soda in a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm trying to keep everything clean. Like, I have a little organic ketchup. That's about it. Otherwise, I stick to water and salt.
And the thing is, Patrick, he's kind of like old school classic bodybuilding. Like you got like someone like Chad who just likes to bring him in like Hassan, big, freaky, dry. And then you got someone like Patrick, because he's a good friend of mine, and he really, he'll be really focused on your aesthetics.
Yes.
Because
well, I don't know if Chad focused on the size or he just had good result with big guys in the past, so big guys go to him.
Possibly.
I'm not sure.
Possibly.
Maybe it might be just that. I know Patrick knows, to play. Everybody has different, strengths, and I think you need to lean on that and just push that to the limit. I mean, I did top 10. I got top 10 in classic physique in 2019. So to be able to go that, place that high in classic physique, you definitely have to have some kind of flow, some kind of structure. So I have that base, and you just need to build on that, and that's what we're focusing on now.
And the thing is, if aesthetics is your calling card, you've nailed the condition. You're just adding size nice and steadily. It's like, I mean, every time like an open guy like yourself with aesthetics steps on stage and they're coming back bigger and better, I always hold my breath because I'm like, please, I hope they've held on to that shape and aesthetics, not blown up 30 pounds and all their lines are completely gone, which we have seen before from guys.
No, and a lot of people who've been supporting me and following my journey, they were kind of skeptical of me switching to open bodybuilding because they wanted me to keep that.
Yeah.
And I always say that's the bodybuilding I love. That's what I've learned. Sean obviously was a major mentor of mine, but I also had Samir Banout in my corner, Tom Platz, Rory Delmeyer, like all these people who have this vision of bodybuilding. That's what I love. Beauty of the sport, the beauty of the body. It's not just. I think size is important, but I've been adding consistently 7 pounds a year of pure muscle. So another year or two, I'll be another 15 pounds. So I'll be there for sure.
And you talk about guys playing their own game. Look what Sean had to do to win the Olympia. We dropped to 238. What was that? That was lighter than he was the year before. You know, I mean, he wasn't the biggest, freakiest guy up on stage. I was at that Olympia, you know, he won it because he really realized he wanted to hold on to what made his physique special and really emphasize that drop. Like even Ramy had to drop weight to win the Olympia.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, and that's a mass monster, you know, realizing that shape, condition, even aesthetics, you know, because some of those side shots on Ramy are quite aesthetic, but you know, dropping weight improved their shape, you know, so it's not all about, you know, you get into bloody 300 pounds on stage, you know, to do well.
No, exactly. I mean, after Orlando, a lot of people thought, you know, I nailed it, I can't be any better, and they told me to come back bigger, and I was like, okay, well, we come in even leaner, you know, more separation, deeper cuts, a little more fullness. They're going to give that illusion of being bigger, and I think that's exactly what we did in Vancouver. I love the look we brought to Vancouver. I love the pictures, the videos. Like, it came out really like exactly the type of look I wanted. I mean, this show is just the pictures I've gotten so far. They just don't showcase the physique how it was at all. So that's the only thing I can say. Oh, this show was that great. When I see the check-ins and stuff, I'm appreciative of what I've brought.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for some reason the iPhone pictures are better than the $10,000 camera picture.
And also, I mean, I've been on stage when I know 100%, even before I've stripped off backstage, I know I've nailed my conditioning, and you feel so confident. Do you know what I mean? You don't even need to look in the mirror. When you know you've nailed your conditioning, you go on stage fully confident.
Mm-hmm. No, that's I was on stage, I mean, ready to execute again, and I was on a mission, you know, like I was in the pose 5-10 seconds before everyone else.
Yeah.
So I was just to try to really show how bad I wanted it, you know, and that's what I'm going to keep doing.
And I did say on the MD group chat, I said yesterday, actually, after the judging, I said, before the pre-judging, I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing him next to Blessing. Mm-hmm. You know, tall, you know, big frame, you know, small waist, wide shoulders, and you beat him. Yeah,
that was him, John, and Justin was the only guy I hadn't beaten yet. I hadn't competed against, so I hadn't the chance to beat them yet. So Blessing won, you know, New York Pro last year. So it's an achievement in itself for sure. I'm taking every little victory and using that to fuel the next one.
And also, I almost hate saying it, but that top three was close, mate. I mean, if you go back and I'll tag you into the post, and you actually see, like, you know, it's like there's 3 people say you, 3 people said John, 3 people said Justin. It was very equal. I'm trying to get a gauge for what the fans who are watching the live stream or people that are there, I'm trying to get a gauge for the kind of, you know, the feedback, you know. And I was shit, this top 3 is bloody close.
Yeah, I think we just had everybody had something different. I think I was the most patient. Justin had probably the best shape, and John had kind of the best of both worlds, like more size, more condition, but like kind of a happy middle. And yeah, I was 1 point behind John at the final results. That's why, like,
shit, it's close. Close.
Justin, you know, his front double, amazing, front lat spread. But I thought the side on the back shot, I had him on conditioning alone. And, but it was a freaking great battle. We had so much fun on stage. They made us work. At least, you know, they really gave us a shot. But like when we got all those call outs, and then he finished with like a front double, back double. I was like, I just got to be first and last, and all those poses, and I did that. So I saw, I really did everything I could, and I thought I just did enough, but not this time.
Well, the thing is, you also placed well and did very well. Like I said, you could have won it, you know, in a very, very high-profile show. Like a lot of eyes, there was more eyes on that show than there was in Vancouver. You know, it's regarded as a bigger show. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So, right, Stan, I promised I'd be 20 minutes, and we've gone nearly 25, and I know you're going to get kicked out your room soon, mate, so I'm going to draw this to a close.
I'm actually staying at a friend, but, you know, my massage therapist, when I lived in Chicago, Intrinsic Massage here.
Oh, nice.
He welcomed me in his home, and I spent the last few days with them, so it was great to catch up with a friend here, and also being at home in a way in Chicago here was I lived for about a year, and catch up with some friends and get on, because I was supposed to do Puerto Rico Pro. That was supposed to be my first show. So at least I did a Team Garner show like right now, and got to be in front of Steve Weinberger. And overall, it was a great experience. I had a lot of fun, a lot of pleasure doing it. It's my passion, so I'm blessed every day I get to do it. I got great sponsors, BSN, Trifecta, have been sponsoring me and helping me for years and believing in me and my vision, and I'm very grateful for that. And I was just going to keep doing what I'm doing, come back better like I always do, and we'll pay off soon.
Well, you're one of those guys that, like you said, just will keep doing what they've been doing, and that means they will keep improving, and that means you'll keep on moving up. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what your entire career has been. It's been a transition from, 3 divisions now. You've gone from men's physique to classic to this, and it's just been a continual, steady, rise and improvement. So, just like I said, you just got to just keep doing what you're doing, and everything will just fall into place exactly like it has. And I am really, really hoping you get a win. And also, mate, just before I let you go, there's some good shows over in Europe, mate. We've got Spain, Italy. What else have we got? Spain, Italy, Prague. Yeah, there's Prague. And we've got that is before the Olympia. You're right. Yeah. So there's a few. There's a good few shows over in Europe, mate. So bear that in mind.
Absolutely. No, right now there was a few here, so there was no point for me to fly back and forth with Europe. In September, it's an option I have for sure. It's doing those 3 shows. It's Italy, France, Spain, or in whichever order. I might jump in for sure. Like I said, I can't really make up my mind right now. I have to see how my body responds, and get a talk with Patrick, see what's the best course of action. As much as I want to be at the Olympia this year also, I know it's just being patient like I've been so far, just, take my time, improve. Because even since last show, it was in November, I only had 3-4 months off season in between,
Yeah.
So in 4 months, I made, I think, some significant changes. And so who knows what I can do in 6, 8, 9, maybe even 10 months.
Yeah. Well, Patrick's absolutely killing it at the moment. I mean, what he's doing with Keon, is just blowing my mind, to be honest. I mean, and you, and obviously yourself as well with the conditioning. I mean, he is smashing it at the moment.
Keon, I'm calling it Texas champ, and if he's not winning the Olympia this year, he's gonna push Sean for sure.
Yeah. No. I was up to a few weeks ago. There's this guy online, I've been arguing with him, and he's saying, I think he could beat Sean. I said, no, he won't beat Sean this year. Forget that. I said, Sean's just a monster. He's too far ahead. And then Keon did that guest posing, and I went back to him and I said, I think you've got a point now, mate. I think, and Patrick's been sending me pictures, and I can't believe he only weighs 208.
No, he's I mean, I would put my money on him this year already.
Wow. You're not the only one, mate. You're not the only one.
If I was a betting man, I would definitely put my money on him. I'm rooting for him. I love Sean. He's a good friend of mine too, so I hope he doesn't take offense into it.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a great freaking battle to see them together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that freaky mass, pop, everything, that Sean brings against like that beautiful physique dialed in that Keon brings with his stage presence and everything. I can't wait to see that, and maybe I'll just watch him do his thing while I'm improving on the sideline.
Nice. Well, like I said, you're 35. The Olympia's not going anywhere, mate. It'll be there next year and the year after. So just keep doing what you've been doing with the attitude you've had to your bodybuilding, and like I said, it just things will just fall into place. So right, mate, I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so much for coming to Empty Globe Muscle. I really appreciate you doing this because I love these morning after. I like to get it. I like to get the raw kind of emotion and the feelings and the experiences. So, and we had a much better connection this time because the last time you came on, it was we had a horrendous Wi-Fi connection. So, but this is much better. So, I really do appreciate it, Stan.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's roller coaster emotionally. You pour, I do pour so much into this show personally. I gave everything out on stage. I used all the energy I had, and I was drained at the end. Like last night, I was really spent, and of course, you got all these emotions coming out, and it's great. That's why I love this sport. It's just so much. It's nonstop. It's very it takes your guts, So that's what's so cool about it. That's what's really. You got those tough losses that feeds the next one, and hopefully next time we get this interview will be for talk about a victory.
At the end of the day, mate, you know, you and I, we're both blessed because we get to do what we love every single day. So that's something to be really, really thankful for.
For sure.
Cool.
So I might see you in Europe.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, I'll probably be at, I'll be at a few of them. So, Derek, anything you want to ask Stan?
Yeah, no, man, just keep on going. Keep with that same positive attitude, and then you listen. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
He's close.
It's
Bloody
close.
Oh, he's so close.
You know what I mean? Don't lose faith now. Just keep going, man.
Well, think about how Hassan felt, and then he got the win. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like he's right there. It's like seconds and thirds, and you know, in big shows, man, big shows.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, you're doing fantastic, mate, and I'll message Patrick afterwards as well, and give him some praise because I think Patrick's. I think he's doing an amazing job with guys like yourself and Keon. I mean, it's just incredible the results he's getting.
Well, it's just we got similar views on bodybuilding and just like raw, just old school, just doing everything right. Just no bullshit, no magic tricks, no everything is. That's why it's very comforting, very reassuring to be working with him. It's. I'm very blessed to have him in my corner, and I couldn't see myself doing this with anyone else at this point, so for sure.
Good. No, you got a good, and he's a good person as well. And he's like I said, he's a good guy to have in your corner for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, then, Stan, I'll let you go about your day, mate, and thank you so much for coming on, and I'll speak to you very soon, hopefully again before the Olympia, mate.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Stan.
Thank you
for watching.
All the way from 110 degrees Las Vegas, but he's got a cold. Milos Sarcev!
Whoa!
Derek's favorite.
Yeah, guys. I love you guys. I had to do it, and when you told me Sunday, you two want to talk, I'll be available.
Well, Derek's been like nagging me every week for like 6-8 weeks now. He's saying, I said, come on, you've got to have some guest requests. Come on, Derek, you know, you're helping with the show every week, and he, every single time, Milos. So I personally didn't want you on. It was just Derek, you know.
All right, Derek. So let's forget about Giles. Giles, you can go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, mate, I mean, there's just so much going on in the industry right now. The other day, I caught that the Cutler cast, obviously with Jay Cutler, and it got me talking to Derek about this subject earlier on. Like Vancouver, Chicago, all these pro cards being given out. Where are all the pros?
I mean, that's the puzzle that I touched the subject with manager Matt and Jay Cutler. And previously, I called Bob Cicherillo to find out if he knows by any chance how many pro cards are given. So he says in the last decade, thousands.
Yeah,
okay.
it is.
And then if it's just open division, hundreds. So, Giles, you were there with me in 1990s competing, and you know that pretty much every pro you know competes in pretty much every show. I mean, plus minus, right?
You
have a pro card, you know, you can travel, you know, you compete, you know, most of it. I was competing for 10 years. Most of the guys, if I would go to any show and thinking that Vince Taylor is not going to be there, good luck. He was always there.
Yeah.
And it's a guy that would beat me every time. Then if it's Thierry Pastel, if it's Chris Cormier, it's Sonny Schmidt, it's Marcel Samba. I mean, there was a deep lineups. So late in the 90s, there was 40 plus competitors competing in Night of the Champions and about 25 to 35 in any other show. This is how it was. So that's 1990s, early 2000s. Now you get hundreds of IBB pro cards and nobody is entering six in imagine 6 in Vancouver and 8 here yesterday. It's incomprehensible to me. Manager Matt would say like, well, but they don't make money and they have no reason. First, all these pro bodybuilders becoming a pros, they love bodybuilding, they invested so much, they're training anyway, they're supplementing anyway because there's argument, or they don't want to, you know, damage their health. They're going to do the same thing, competing or not competing, for YouTube or for Instagram, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But you have a pro card. You have a chance to be compared to all the best in the world. Be blown away like I was. I was losing, pretty much every show, right?
Coffee. Coffee. Hello.
They saw you. They're saying hello.
She's a terrible ninja. Terrible ninja.
I didn't get. Who are you waving? Somebody.
You got burglar coming right behind you with a baseball bat.
Japanese wife. She got me my coffee, but she didn't want to be seen.
Yeah, she did a really bad job of that.
Yeah. Thank God she didn't spill that coffee on me. That's the second.
Yeah.
But listen, on a serious note, and I know because here you go. Just talk. Repeat yourself. This is important thing to talk about. Number one, why are so many pro cards being given? Why? Why do we need it? For what reason? Especially now we gave them all and nobody's competing anyway. Oh, just to collect money for membership and what? I mean, do you think that, yesterday's and the day before, week ago's winners can make top 10 at Olympia? That's the question.
What? Sorry. Sorry.
You didn't get the question. Do you think that Justin and Hassan can make a top 10 at the Olympia?
Oh, Hassan, not Justin yet. Hassan, yeah, possibly could maybe squeeze in the top 10, maybe. Yeah, 11th to 15th. He's 11th to 15th guy, realistically, I think.
It's not fair to even mention that way, but what I'm saying, we don't have a top tires. Tires entering contest, the guys that you're gonna want to see in the top 6 in the first call out in anything like that. Okay, now coming up. Well, you're going to Benidorm next week?
No, not Benidorm. No.
Yeah, but there is a show happening, right?
Yeah, the Spain, Italy. The next one I'll be at is the Masters Olympia.
Yeah. Okay, but I know that next week there is another show, so I don't know who is entering there. To make long story short, this Houston coming up with Andrew Jack, with Hunter Labrada, with that Thomas Jr., right?
Yeah.
That looks like a show that's the level of competition we would like to see.
Yeah.
I mean, those were level of competitions back in the 90s.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you get excited about it. Here is just like, okay, are there going to be enough guys on the stage, so we can actually make the contest?
So why? I mean, think about it, right? I mean, like in the UK up till a few years ago, there was pretty much one pro card given to the overall winner. So that's one man a year. Dorian Yates 88, Zach Khan, Alvin, one guy a year. Now, I mean, I don't know how many male pros, say, just in the UK, using it as an example, have got pro cards. But, point is, it's like the numbers of competitors are plummeting in these shows, but yet the amount of pro cards are going out. Why aren't they jumping at the chance to do like you did? I mean, you did every show. I mean, literally every show. So why aren't they taking that opportunity?
I mean, I speak about this in front of Jay and Dennis James and Chris Cormier so many times, and they basically roll the eyes and they tell me, stop talking about, come on. But it is a serious problem. We want to save the sport. Dennis James was asking last time, are we in trouble in sense open bodybuilding? And I said, open bodybuilding is always going to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't like what's happening. I mean, really, these kind of shows. First, there's way too many shows, because then you water it down. Right? And if more guys were showing up, then they would justify it. But if you're gonna make the show for 6 guys, or now for 8 guys, and maybe a couple of them shouldn't even be there, maybe, when you see the quality, it's one of those, they got pro card in whatever local show that the pro card was being given and nobody showed up. So whatever his best they have to offer, they get pro card. But that's not the level that you want to see. And before there was that elite group that you see the pro, you know it's a pro. Now you just have to read it on Instagram profile if it's IBB Pro. And now there's like thousands of them.
Yeah. So but what reason do you think what is the fundamental reason of why they are not taking this opportunity? That's the question it keeps coming back to in my mind. Like if the numbers are like why even if they're going in there just to stand on stage as a pro, like when you started, you hit the ground running in 91. You pretty much did well from the start, and you got better and better and better, and as you competed and prepped all year round.
There's only one logical answer, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna boil down to this one. Oh, they're gonna say monetary reasons. They don't have money to fly. They don't have this. And no, confidence in your ability that you can do something. Giles, Derek, right now, you guys have a chance to win $10,000, for example, which is another story. $10,000 qualify for Mr. Olympia. 4 biggest contests in the world, something that you dream of since you pick up the first pair of dumbbells and did the curls. Okay, so there is possibility. You have a legitimate chance right now to prepare for a show, go there and compete, win the prize money, and qualify for Olympia. Why would you not be doing it unless you don't think you're at that level?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the only thing, let's face it. So all these guys that they're calling themselves IBB pros and they not compete, they should just delete that suffix. They don't need it, prefix. Whatever.
So really, we're kind of we're not really enlightened on why. It's just one of those things. Maybe it's just monetary. It's confidence. It's one of those. It's just how things have changed. And obviously, we have more divisions, but we also have more shows. So yeah. I think maybe it's something we'll probably just go round and round in circles here with.
Well, I think YouTube and not YouTube. I mean Facebook and the social media has a lot more to do with it.
In what way?
I mean, it counts prestige with the title IBB Pro, right? And then they maybe monetize somehow. Now they can go and get the sponsorships. I'm IBB Pro. So a lot of average companies and a lot of sponsors and people, they wouldn't maybe know what's the difference from Jay Cutler, IBB Pro, and Pro Blow, IBB Pro, right? Yeah. This is how it is. But really, as you boil it down and you asking me, and I'm going to be straight sure, the only logical reason why nobody's competing is they don't have a confidence they can do anything. Because if you're going to say, oh, we don't have money, you know my whole story. I had not a penny to my name. And I, made enough that I can eat decently and then showed up at the show. Yeah. Yaroslav Horvat. You remember from... Yeah. Oleg Zhur. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember him, yeah, he was good, great delts.
Pavel Yablonitsky, for the love of God. I mean, it's prime example of a most perfect example for that.
Yeah.
Nothing was paid for him. And to make that kind of money, to travel all the way to America, to pay for hotel and all these expenses, and he did it. And imagine, so he would go there, and then judges don't even compare him, doesn't even take a picture on the stage, go disappointed, and comes back again and again and again until he made it. Mm-hmm. So when you're going to tell me, oh yeah, it doesn't make financial sense, there is many guys that bodybuild for the love of bodybuilding, right? I didn't think I was going to compete when I started. I didn't have those intentions, but then your aspirations are growing as you see. I say, okay, listen, I mean, why not? Yeah, I can compromise, optimize, minimize, maximize. It's okay. I'm just going to go all out. I'm going to, try to compete against the best in the world. And I did. And you mentioned, listen, I enter every show there is during a year in three years.
Milos, can I just interject quickly? Like you've said, obviously I know your career from 91 to, was it 2003 or whatever? Like, did you literally do every single show, or did you ever? There must have been one where something came up that you didn't make. What happened there? What?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few times. Initially, I was just going to do everything. But 91, 92, right? I was doing everything. Then I just posted that picture on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen. I'm on the stage, sitting on the. You didn't see it? Yeah, look at it on Instagram. They were like big steps, like maybe 1 meter steps, so levels. And there was Dorian and Sean and Kevin and Ronnie, and there was Lou Ferrino. Yep. You know, those in Helsinki, you have to count down.
92,
yeah. So I was on the second step in front of me was Momo Benaziza, but I was puking for 2 days.
Oh. I heard this, I read the story. No, I didn't know that until the other day. Yeah, you were throwing up.
I almost puked on the stage. I made it just behind the stage, right?
Yeah.
And outside. So I was so sick. But I signed up for a European Grand Prix tour, and I could never recover, right? So by the time I came back 92 from European tour, I said, okay, first shows in the 93 Ironman, I had to pass. I mean, there was one of those things. I went under 90 kilos.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's another thing I'm still hoping. You know how I dig out my guest posing appearances and pictures from everywhere? Yeah. There was 2 weeks before the 92 Olympia guest posing is in Canada that I want to find it because I want people to see how good I actually look 2 weeks out. But, you know, you are Mr. Condition.
Here we go.
But no, here
we go again, digging up the past.
I agree with you. Condition means fish. So I'm just gonna have a fish, right? Okay.
Yeah, it works. Works.
Fish when you travel, right?
Oh God, no.
Fish when you travel.
The jelly.
And making connections and all that stuff, like, not a good idea. And then, you know how bodybuilders are? You fly and it's time to eat and you open up like, oh man, this doesn't smell good. But I know it's just fish. You smell the fish that doesn't smell good anyway. You know, let me eat it anyway because you need your protein. You're not eating your carbs. You don't have any calories. I don't want to, catabolize myself. And then you eat it. And then you eat another meal. It's still convincing yourself that it's decent. And then the third of that kind of meal by the time you get in, because you don't have a time for hotel. Anyway, this is the worst experience. I don't think I ever eat fish after that 92.
I think what it is, because I did it once where I was, because normally I was always at home, so I could always eat everything fresh at home. But I was driving once, and I remember when the white fish, the juice kind of congealed, and it turned like that jelly. I was like, I'm actually going to have to go hungry and just drive home and floor it home just because I cannot eat. And all the broccoli was all like, all the jelly was hanging off it and everything. Right. Anyway, I really wanted, like, obviously this weekend we saw Carlos Thomas Jr. guest posing. We saw Justin Shire win his pro debut. Last year we had Crizzo, we had Andrew Jacked. For 2023, who for you is the most exciting newcomer and why?
Thomas Jr. is for sure freak. I mean, Jay Cutler actually asked me if I've seen the footage. I said no, and then he sent it to me, and I've seen it. This is that once in a lifetime freak that wants to see it. He has a crazy amount of thickness and a size for this kind of shape, right? So he's a shapely monster. It's not just put together in any which way. He's very balanced and wide and round, small waist, craziest legs. He's going to make a mark to the point. I mean, listen, he's challenging Labrada and Andrew Jack. Yep. He could easily enter any other shows before, and that's a challenge. And as a matter of fact,
so do you have any knowledge on his medical situation? That because he had to pull out of the New York Pro. Do you? How is that going? Do you know how that will impede him? What he has to do? Do you think he can get past this or work with it? Or
I really don't know what his medical condition. You know,
Colitis.
when you talk to him, you always talk to his father. His father is always with him.
Yeah.
His father would be on the stage with him if he could be. So his father sent me some pictures of him a couple of weeks ago and saying how he's going to shock the world and everything, right? But he didn't touch the subject of the
Okay.
any illness. I don't even know. Do you know what's
It's,
about?
I'm not. I might be colitis, but it's something along. He's got because he was supposed to do the New York Pro, and he pulled out, and now he's having to push it back to Texas. But I've got a funny feeling that this might be the thing that impedes his ability to get in condition. I don't know. Now, there's two things that I think potentially could hold him back. One is the conditioning with the health aspect. I don't know whether that's a problem. I'll have to get more information. And two is back when he turned pro at the 2021 Nationals was lacking. And I noticed in that guest posing, he didn't hit any back shots. So maybe like Crizzo, his back is good, just not like everything, like the legs and the arms. I mean, he's incredible. So I don't know whether we've got like a Gary Stridham situation where he turns to the back and it's like,
Yeah. I want to see if I have a last spread from Jay Cutler that he sent me of Thomas, because last spread from the back, it looked good.
Okay, because his back in the frontal bicep, I mean, it comes out like bloody Dorian Yates's, like, you know, the real thick, full hanging lats.
Yeah, man.
This one.
It's the lens. Okay. But I'm sending all these pictures to Jay from '99 competition, beating him, just to remind him.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is the video that he sent me, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at the legs, look at the arms. Yeah. I mean,
it should be the point when he turns around. If he turns around, I'm going to turn the. But listen, okay. So you're always Mr. Nice Guy, and you're not going to assume anything, you know. Because for me, when they pull out from a medical reason, right? You know, he's supposed to compete somewhere earlier. He was just not in shape. So how can he go to the promoters or to a federation and say, okay, I sign up for the contest and I'm not ready? The only excuse has to be medical excuse, and then you come up with something. I mean,
it's a possibility. It's a possibility, you know, because I mean, even when he turned pro, he still wasn't shredded. Oh, okay. So look, hang on. Here we are. Moment of truth. That looks good. That looks good to me. Okay. I'm relieved.
He did my thing. I do like 3 minutes front and 1 second back.
Yeah.
All right.
So
anyway, I mean, he looks generally healthy and everything, so he's young. Yeah. So don't read between the line like, oh, maybe something is gonna hold him back.Maybe this, you know, it's always look. He would be penalized $5,000 if you sign up for a contest and you don't shut up.
Okay.
So, and you would have to have a like medically approved, stamped by a doctor back in the day. Excuse.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, just double checking the lighting as we're I've got a thing to adjust. So okay, then fair enough. Okay, well, because I want to get your take, because I think like last year it was all Crizzo and jacked. I mean, it's like, and those two, I think they delivered last year.
Oh, absolutely. And Thomas is going to deliver, I'm sure. But now Justin, okay, that you mentioned, going into the show, just seeing the pictures, you know that I'm a shaped guy. I love to see that extra and V tapers, super small, disappearing waist, you know, flaring lats. I loved it. I was like, woo, I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
But when I see on the stage, yeah, he is still not ready for the Olympia level. He's still not big enough.
I think so.
His legs, I mean, pay attention. And I'm going to point out some things, and people are going to just be pissed off. There is one thing when you flare your legs and you have the volume and cover the space behind you and make them appear bigger. And then when you walk and in between when you see the actual volume. So if you look at the pictures from, let's say, pose down, there are many moments that you can see actual volume of that leg. It's just not there, right? And you cannot be frozen on the stage in that one position that you can say, okay, you have legs. Actually, Max Charles just text. And he just popped in my mind. Remember when he would flare the legs for a moment, he could get away with it, but he doesn't keep it. So when you don't keep it in between, judges going to see, okay, you still need legs. So Justin needed dramatically better, bigger legs. He was not good from the back. I didn't see the real high definition footage. So as Tyler Mannion rightfully said, don't judge by the video footage, stream, pictures, Instagram, and all that stuff. You're not there. So, on that note, I can't say anything that there was really bad conditioning. But in comparison to De La Rosa and Stanimal, he was losing back shots, right? And when you lose to Stanimal and De La Rosa, and somebody was pointing out he can be top 6 at Olympia.
No.
Well, that's not realistic. No, even top 10 is not realistic this year.
Not this year. No, I totally agree. You just said there, I had Max Charles on last week, and until he said he was working with you again. I was really, if you watched it, I was really, really happy to hear that you're working with Max, because what you did with him with the 2020 Arnold Classic when he took 8th and then he was 5th at the New York Pro. That, like I said to him, I actually wrote about it in next month's MD column. I'll send you. I will send you a picture of the what I've written. But I actually said, I was like, why? I wanted to say, like, why did you stop working with him in the first place? Let's not go over that. But I am just, I was so happy because now I think there's a real conversation for him potentially. Klehar and Kamal for the Masters Olympia, mate. So thank you.
Listen, I wish that Max was on the stage in the last 2 shows too. Right. I'm serious.
Oh, so the Vancouver and Chicago, you mean?
Yeah,
I agree.
Even a week after whatever New York, there was a Toronto show. I wanted him to compete, but I guess he was told not to, so he didn't go. At this stage of your career and this age, you don't have too many shows going. And when your body is already prime and conditioned, and Max is like this. You mentioned that fish and broccoli you didn't want to see, right, and eat. I didn't want to eat my foods, but, we had to. Yeah. Max doesn't like to eat food. He would be the happiest guy if he breathes air and doesn't even eat. Yeah. This is how he is.
It's crazy.
So he doesn't need much for that Haitian genetics. Man, when he told me like his father looks just like him and doesn't even train, and like that he has the worst genetics in the whole family. Imagine
wow,
what kind of family that is. But yeah, Max has that cartoon character superhero look, right? If you shut the lights and just see him. 2-3 days ago, picture on the Instagram, him just the arms hanging. Actually, it looks like legs hanging, from the sleeves. You know what I mean?
Can he? Do you think he can win the Masters Olympia?
You know what? If they're gonna nitpick him always, and they're gonna say your back is not as good as front, they're gonna say this again, because as much as he's improving, he's not gonna have a super strided, let's say Kamal El Gardner's back. That back is like chart, the fibers everywhere. But shape, pose by pose, I think Max has a legitimate shot to winning. I'm going to talk to him after I finish with you.
I'm just thinking, 2020 Arnold Classic. I remember when they individually come out at the start and hit their poses. I remember when he first walked out, and I remember just being like, holy shit, I was not expecting that. Like, I remember just the vascularity and his abs and his chest looked like he was about to explode. That look of that fullness, condition. I remember even when he posted the picture in the hotel room beforehand in the doorway, I was like, that still remains the best Max Charles. And I didn't think he could look like that. So I just wonder if you could duplicate that. That would be amazing.
That was the first time that we actually work. And I told him, okay, we're going to do conservatively. We're going to go safe. Yeah. And then, of course, day by day, I say, okay, let's not risk any, a little bit more here, a little bit more, because he has a full chest, right?
Yeah.
So you go for the fullness for the guys that have maybe weaker chest, and you need to make them appear volumized upstairs, right? When somebody is really flattish and doesn't have a width and everything. Yeah. For them, that kind of look would maybe work for him. I mean, he's bursting full round shoulders, crazy arms, so we didn't need it. We just went for that look. But you see, that puts in perspective. I would be called biased coach for him there. He was easily first call out, and he got the third call out, you know. And then in the finals, he gets only second call out, you know. And these are kind of things that is disturbing. I mean, we can discuss Vancouver or Chicago. I don't have any athletes, and I'm very much opinionated. If I say something, right? Oh, and that's my athlete, then I'm biased. I have just my opinion. That's it. So I'm glad that you mentioned Max at that show. Looked like a freak. He could have, for me, be top 5 that show easily. You know, and you know what? Yeah, I'll tell you just this. The guys, like it was Victor Martinez there was Johnny Jackson, there was like, you know, Dexter. They would come up to him and say, bro, you look amazing. I mean, yeah. So they would want to see him there, but they're not judges.
Well, I like before I was thinking, okay, now Clay Haas obviously won Orlando and he's back in the game. He was going to be full of confidence and going in, and then you got Kamal and now I think you can really throw Max into the conversation for being a potential winner there now. So that's what I think anyway. Right, I wanted to talk about Samson.
Samson?
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it going? Because like, I mean, this is the kind of the bit where it all starts again for him with the Olympia. I'm so happy to see. Not only has he been doing all this traveling, but he's really been managing to like stay in good shape. He's managed to, I think he's improved, you know? I mean, that really is a testament to how hard he works when you can travel and still stay on top of your game.
Well, listen, he is passionate, hardcore.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just saying I'm going to throw a question to you next, Derek, because Derek's looking sad. He wants to ask a question.
Okay, so fall asleep. Yeah, Derek, don't fall asleep. So let's talk about the Nigerian lion. I mean, you know very well, his life is bodybuilding. Now, he was before, but he would still have to make a living. Now he's making a living off of bodybuilding, and he wants to make a very good living off it. He is a hungry and confident man. And hungry and confident, willing to work hard is super dangerous. I mean, since the day one, he keeps improving from show to show. I mean, you follow me with him occasionally from shows back in Europe. I was sending you his pictures like the day before a show just for your review and stuff like that. So you see how he's progressing. He's still progressing. Last video that he sent me, which was a week ago, so probably I'm going to get another one today.
Yeah.
I didn't check my text messages, but he's greatly improved. I showed to Jay Cutler, and he was super impressed. So here's 3:30. Did you see that video?
Which one?
The from last Sunday.
I probably have seen it. If it was then, I probably have seen it. But
no, he was not on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So bigger, better, leaner, fuller, rounder, cleaner. You know, any which way you look at it, he is just improving.
So are you watching the midsection? Because that's a few comments saying, because I know, but I want to just double check because yes, he's at a point now where he's pushing the size. He's managing to retain those aesthetics. And I think everyone's fear is that he's going to blow out the waistline. So I just want to hear it from your lips, Milos.
No, but listen, of course, when somebody is 280 or 330, where do you put the 50 pounds, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, of course,
that would spoil the picture, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It would just completely destroy it. So no. We are constantly on check-in. You talk to Samson yourself and see, you know, if he's in check or not. He feels super comfortable. Yeah. Of course, you still have to down that food. I'm not going to say that fish because he doesn't like fish. I convinced him to throw in some fish here and there, right? Yeah. But yeah, listen, that shape would only work with that kind of waistline. Yeah. That shape with a Buddha stomach would not work.
Hang on, because when I stayed at his house last year, he basically had the grill outside and he made the same food for me, and I think it was some sea bass and some salad. And in the morning, he had I did a video of him eating his, 2 or 3 eggs or something. I mean, I went to bed really hungry. And this is a guy that was several weeks out. Was it just before the Arnold Classic? Before, the year he got 4th. And I was just thinking, like, so obviously when you get him on prep, you really do reduce the volume of the food, which will obviously bring the waist in. So people panic when they see an off-season of him at 330 pounds. And yes, there's a bit of, but you know that once the food volume goes down, you know that waist is going to come right down.
Listen, Marlena as well, thank God for her. She's such a huge part of the team. She has a watchful eye on him constantly. And this is one thing that there's, okay, listen, we cannot risk that. So he's eating the same foods that he digests specifically. So it's not like, unexpected. Now, what are we dealing with? So volume, of course, was not easy. And we solved it with, we're not going to increase protein sizes from extra just meats. We would keep the meats the same and just throw in a little bit of whey protein to it. So we add the protein that way. And listen, I mean, everything that I've seen so far is working. But how many shows? You probably even know that better than anybody else. Since I started working with him, I think we did 9 shows already. So imagine back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And we did big shows, Arnold Classic, UK Arnold Classic here, Olympia, and many shows in between. So, yeah. I
mean, I November 2021 EVLS Prague, 270 on stage, he won. The Olympia 2022, 297.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. That is just, I still can't get my head around that, even on a guy his height and his frame.
So you know why I don't see this? Most of the guys, they compete, get off the show and do whatever. I need a rest, stay away from the gym. I need to break, right, and stuff like that. So eat whatever, get fat, then try to lose all that fat down. He is staying very close to the contentious, eating what he's supposed to be eating. So when you are nourishing, not just throwing the caloric bombs in your body, and when you put healthy nutrients, not some junk, it pays off with this kind of genetics and the way he trains. I mean, he is improving. So if you can project, and now you start to project, Prague 270, November, 21, and Olympia, and now projecting to 2023 with the constant little improvements. So what he improved from Prague, he got wider shoulders, rounder shoulders, a little bit bigger back, right? Everything else, pretty much waist is, if not identical, it's almost there.
Okay.
Very close.
Well, I wanted to hear that from you, so.
Yeah, it is. But listen, it's concern.
Yeah.
You, me, and Derek right now, if you're going to try to put the 50 pounds, right? I said, be careful, not put a single one in your waistline. How can you do it, right?
I don't think it's ever been done before. Personally, I've not seen. I remember when Ruli eventually left Sybil and then he went to Q8. And I remember he did the show in Nordic, the Finland one, and he put on 30 pounds. And I remember almost crying when I saw the pictures. I was like, what have they done to him? 30 pounds heavier, but he just looked like a big block. I was devastated because I was a big Ruli fan, I was like, what have they done to him? So that was 30 pounds. Do you know what I mean? So that was, and then imagine he managed to kind of pull it back a couple of years later, but probably took a lot of readjusting, to get that physique back under control.
I mean, you talk to Samson quite often, and please express your concern, but he's going to laugh at you the same way.
Good. No, I want him to.
He's going to say, don't you know that that's exactly what we are paying attention to, because that's our strength, not weakness. And, contrary to some other people that I don't want to mention the names.
Okay, guys, and welcome back to Season 5, Episode 40 of MD Glow Muscle Hot News. And, of course, once again, in the house, switch yourself, Derek Clark.
Here I am again in the hot seat. Nice to meet you all again.
Derek, I know I keep saying it every week, but mate, you are. I think it's you're getting padding.
This jumper is a nice thick jumper because I need to keep warm in this weather.
Your arms are looking at least 20s. They what is it? Is it pythons that are 20s? No, hang on, because like the Hulk Hogan used to have, what was it, 20? I think when they get to 20, it's pythons. 21, they get to. There's like a proper term.
I don't know. I
don't watch wrestling.
No, do I. But I think about 20.
Yeah, Derek, I've got to say, mate, the last few weeks, mate, we have been completely knocking out the park with Global, and also, I mean, we've seen in this episode anyway. You're getting recognised now because
I know from across the board, what in America?
Across the pond, they call it.
Across the pond,
I
isn't
hate
it?
that phrase.
Across the pond.
Across the pond.
Yeah, like it's a pond.
So, so you're getting recognised now, so everyone knows who you are. Big D Clark,
Big D Clark in the house.
So have you been trying Max Charles's Sex Honey?
Well, I'm waiting for it to come. It's supposed to be shipping to Movers, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it does help if we send him the address.
Have you done that yet?
No, I've done.
Oh, come on, G.
Derek, I've had a busy week, mate. Look, mate, honestly, I have been.
I thought you'd be on that.
I've been working like I don't want to give the violins out, So it's been busy, and I'm not complaining because I love it. But anyway, back to the money, honey.
Yep, let's send him the address over so he can send some products over because he said he would.
And just to clarify, you consume it, you don't apply it.
Yes.
That was a genuinely awkward moment. I've actually written about it in my MD column next month.
Have you?
Yeah.
Right.
But and again, like I said, we've actually filming hot news at the end, so we've got all 3 interviews in the bag. And Milos we went on for so long, and it was so good. I think we're going to split that into 2.
Yeah, don't miss that episode, guys. It's a really.
Well, they've watched it now.
They've watched it.
Hot news is at the end. But we're filming it at the end. But actually, hot news is put at the end of the interview, so they've watched Milos part 1.
Oh, well, you'll love it then.
Yeah, and part 2.
And part 2.
Try and hype part 2 for next.
Hype part 2 as well.
Yeah. No, part 2. Yeah, part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Don't miss that.
So yeah, we covered some good topics there. We've also in part 2 we covered making weight for basically classic men's physique.
Yeah.
212s. I think it's a really important topic because there's safe ways to do it and there's very dangerous ways to do it.
Safe ways to do it.
The thing is,
lots of safe ways.
Yeah, but even safely, still cutting weight drastically.
It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, is there really a safe way to do it?
Yes, there is. Cardio. Give yourself plenty of time.
Derek, if I say I've weighed in and I've got 4 hours to get £4 off, cardio ain't going to get that £4 off.
No, they ain't. But then you should have been watching your weight coming down. So that's the safe way of doing it.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's that a lot of these athletes, sometimes, they fly in the day before, they hold a bit of water on the flight. They're just doing exactly what they're doing, and then the body just retains a few pounds of water. They go to weigh in, they've been weighing themselves, coming down nice and steady, and then boom, they're 3 pounds, 4 pounds overweight.
Well, 2 or 3 pounds really they should be able to do to get rid of that. I reckon 2 or 3 pounds is when we're talking about 9 or 10 pounds.
Yeah,
right. Them kind of weights there. Then it's a problem.
What I'm trying to get at because I'm doing a Patrick tour with the Power Hour with Ron Harris. What I'm trying to get at is how much is too much. At what point do you say, mate, even if I give you 24 hours to get this £7 off, you can come back to say tomorrow and weigh in. Realistically, it's not doable and it's not safe, and even to try is probably not smart, with electrolytes and certain things. That's what I'm trying, because thing is now men's physique have got this height weight cap. They're having to make weight as well. It's not, they don't just get on stage as they are. Like now more athletes are going to be in this position potentially where they have to cut weight.
Consider doing something like that. Well, they're just going to have to. This is why you were mentioning about people having good coaches.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to boil down to having not boil down to having a good coach, and listening to your coach.
Yeah.
And just keeping in tune with your coach.
But still, like, things can still happen. Like, I've heard of bodybuilders getting on flights and then they fly into a show the day before. They don't do anything differently, and just because, like, some people go on flights and their ankles swell up.
Yeah.
I've never had problems like that, but some people really suffer from it. They don't even have to change or eat anything wrong to retain water, so it's some people are susceptible.
Yeah, but retaining water, as we're talking about extreme now. We're talking about like when there are like 10 pounds, 12 pounds plus out of overweight. Then that's a big problem.
Well,
right?
it's
2 or 3 pounds up to I can say it's probably 7 pounds, because when I was boxing, we could lose up to 4 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds easy.
Well, in part 2, which is actually out next week with Milos discussed about UFC fighters.
Yeah.
He said the things they do.
Yeah.
He
which
said,
is far, far worse than bodybuilders. Far, far worse.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. But anyway, so I saw something else I was going to say. Anyway, so overall, fantastic. Technically, we've had a really good run with guests. The guests have been fantastic. Good Skype, good Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah.
I'm just really, really happy. So fingers crossed it continues, because, like I said before, like if I have a bad global or something goes wrong with one of the episodes or one of the guests, it ruins my week.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It really bothers me, because it throws. Because I put a lot into it. We put a lot of work into this show, So anyway, let's get into it. Now I'm completely still deaf in my left ear, by the way. So hopefully that'll be sorted in a few days. But anyway, first guest was Stanimal, who just took 3rd place at the Chicago Pro. He was a very, very close runner-up to Hassan Mustafa, who we had on last week.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we can't get much quicker than that, can we? Getting him literally as he's pulled up to the backstage door.
Exactly.
To go, and wasn't he? How can you believe how relaxed he was?
It was totally relaxed. I was so impressed. I was really impressed.
And he gave us a 25-minute interview, even though obviously his wife was doing most of the talking because he doesn't actually speak English. I mean, that was a really. Like I said, look, mate, you're gonna have to go and get ready backstage because I've got the show to win, haven't I? I got to go.
And he was happy to do it.
Yeah,
he was happy to do it.
There you
right.
go.
So fans, keep an eye out for him.
Yeah. So and he's potentially, he could be a top 10 Olympia.
Yeah.
Top 10 Olympia. I mean, he's Hassan Mustafa is one of my favorites. I think he's absolutely awesome. But anyway, yes. So we had Stanimal.
Yeah.
Obviously, ex-training partner of the dearly departed 2018 Mr. Olympia Sean Roden, number 14. I like the way he still speaks about him, and he's because they weren't just training partners; they were close friends. They were close. They were brothers.
Yep.
So so really, Stan is very, very close now to. Unfortunately, because now they've done away with the points.
Yeah.
When you get second and third, you can accumulate points, and then the top 2 at the end of when the last qualifiers happen, they get to qualify for the Olympia. Yeah. They've done away with that now. Because there was too many competitors. There was like nearly 59 competitors in the Classic last year. They basically felt there was too many shows, too many competitors in the Olympia, so they've cut it down to winner only. So unless you win a show, you ain't doing the Olympia.
Right.
Unless you get like a special invite. And now, the reason I'm saying this is because Stan, with his 3rd and his 2nd, would probably be doing very well on points right now.
Yeah.
So if he did 1 or 2 more shows,
he could qualify.
Yeah, he'd be in the Olympia. So he's probably the first victim of this new system.
Yeah.
So, but something had to be done, Derek.
Something had to be done. There's too many.
So, do you? Because I like it when I like those Olympias where there's like 25 guys in the open, but some people say no, it should be the top 15 best of the best. What do you think? Do you prefer to see more or less at the Olympia?
Well, if the guys have worked hard for it, personally, I don't mind how many up there. 25 is probably about the max, isn't it? Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of them, only the top 15 gets to pose, and maybe the top 10 actually gets to pose, and then the other guys, sometimes they've only got like a couple of minutes actual stage time.
Well, then they'll have to just work harder.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
That's the whole point of the thing. You work harder, get up there.
Yeah. Well, that's Ronnie Coleman's attitude.
That's it.
Don't complain. Just
keep plugging, working hard, digging deep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ronnie goes, I didn't complain. 92, I didn't get a call out. I didn't complain. 94, I didn't get placed. I didn't complain.
No.
He just came better and better.
Kept improving.
Until they went, actually, you are, we can't deny that you're actually the best guy on stage. Yeah. Here's a Sandow.
Yeah. Talk to Milos.
Yeah. Talk to Milos. Yeah.
Talk to Milos.
So,
I did.
Yeah. Also, Derek, I know I for weeks I've been saying any guest request, and I can attest to it. I'll say it now. Every time Derek said, Milos, the only guy I really, really want to get on the screen, and personally I would love to speak to. And obviously we brought you in on the camera, and because did you like asking all the questions? I
did like asking questions because he's such a noble guy, and he likes to is just on the ball, isn't it? Yeah. And the way how he brings his answers over, it's just unique to him, isn't it? Yeah. Right? Is another Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Actually, when I did Nothing But a Podcast, when we were doing we did Ronnie and Jay, Ronnie and Chad Nichols, Ronnie and Chris Cormier, and I said to Ronnie, I said, Ronnie, who else is there? I said, because I've got a few ideas, like Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Brian, Brian Dobson. Yeah. Who else did I say? Forget who else. Sean Ray we had on, and he said Milos. He said,
Milos.
Yeah, he really respects Milos.
Yeah,
really respects him. So it's obviously because they compete against each other on those Grand Prix tours. They're bonded for life, Mm-hmm. So So anyway, back to Stanimal. So I don't know. He said in the interview, as you saw, he doesn't know what he's going to do now moving forward. I feel like, he could have won yesterday because I felt like the top three, and from what I was reading, the top three was very close.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people even at Vancouver that felt he could have beaten Hassan Mostafa.
Okay.
Personally, I think Hassan had it in the bag. I feel like it's a bodybuilding contest. I mean, he's but he's very aesthetic. He's very good. So I don't know whether, obviously, it's up for him to decide whether he shuts it down now and just basically shuts it down until next year. Personally, I think he should shut it down. I think there's only a few shows left.
Yeah.
Or maybe tries and does a show towards the end. I feel like he should shut it down until next year.
Yeah.
He's proved his point. He's gone up a level. He's come back bigger and better this year. He's nailed the conditioning with Coach Patrick Tour. Yeah. In fact, do you want us to get Patrick on?
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Is there a lot? Did you feel there's a lot you would like to ask Patrick Tour?
Well, he's done so much anyway. So there's always questions we can ask Patrick, isn't there?
I'll hook you up.
Yeah, hook me up.
I'll hook you up.
Hook me up,
Patrick.
guys. We're going to get Patrick on.
Yeah, I think Patrick's a good friend, and like Milos is extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So anyway. Again, back to Stanimal. Yeah, so personally, I think I'd like to see maybe shut it down till next year, come back, and look at this physique. I mean, really, he's big, he's conditioned, he's symmetrical. There's aesthetics, there's size. I just feel like he needs a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because he's only one step up. Well, literally one step away in Vancouver, 2 steps away in Chicago. But he's very, very pleasing, very balanced. Yeah. I just think I think he's done his job for this year now. Yeah. I don't know what he would prove extra by competing. Just carrying on the prep. Because the thing is, it's a lot on the body. So I think he's done his job. I'd say go back to the drawing board. Come back 7-8 pounds heavier next year. Look at that. He's very complete, and then come back next year.
Great condition.
Yeah, and great
condition.
I mean, his condition has gone up a notch this year. Like he said, he cracked the code with Patrick this year.
Yeah.
So, and these are just crappy cell phone pictures. I mean, it's always, if they look good on these kinds of pictures, then it's gonna, you know they're in shape.
Yeah.
They're in shape. So anyway, I'll show you a quick video, Derek, and I'll get your take.
And don't forget John Jewett.
No, he's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's next.
All right.
Yeah, he's now next. Right, so that's a nice picture.
He's a good coach too.
Yeah, very good coach. Very good coach. Yeah, and the thing is, he's like a Milos. I mean, even Milos gave him credit.
Milos gave him credit. So he's a good coach.
Yeah. Thing is, though, it's if Milos is watching his stuff, watching John's stuff.
Yeah.
But that, like he said, he's very technical.
Very technical.
Because the thing about bodybuilding, even with the coaches, there's a lot of we call it bro science, where it's kind of like that gym science, where I heard if you do this, it gets this, but there's not a lot of actual scientific data or fact that people actually work on. It's all word of mouth and what their mate did at so and so show, and so when you get someone like John, he wants to know.
Why?
Why? Like Milos.
He's the why guy.
The why guy.
And he'd like to tell you why.
There you go. Right, quickly look more at... let's look at a quick... I'll tell you what, let's have a look at... Derek, I want to get your... I'm going to say nothing. I just want to get your running commentary of Hassan versus Stan and what you think, how Stan compares to Hassan, whether there was an argument for him winning.
Okay.
So tell me what you think, because these are two completely different sorts of physiques. So what's your first impressions? What's your thoughts? Wow. Yeah. Sorry. I was supposed to say nothing, but come on, Derek, talk to me. What are you seeing? Let's
look at the flipping legs on that.
Where's who are you talking about now?
Hassan.
So what about the arguments for Stan potentially winning this over Hassan? What do you think?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I agree. He's aesthetic, but he's not...
Yeah, he needs to put on, for me, probably another 10 plus pounds.
Yeah. Hassan's delts.
Hassan's just...
He's an absolute monster.
He's a monster, yeah.
My God. I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
Like Stan, mate, coming over from men's physique to classic.
He's done very well. He's done very well. But as you said, maybe if they shut it down, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
And this
like you said, coming back another 10 pound because he's got a pretty small waist.
He's got the lines. All the lines are there and everything.
I like his legs.
Yeah.
I like his legs. But for me, Hassan's just too dominating.
Again, yeah. When you put him against somebody side by side against Hassan, it's
game over.
It's game over, isn't it? I mean, from the delt, from the chest, it's just from the sides.
Yeah,
it's game over.
I'm
see, again, put him in a different lineup, then he'll probably shine.
Yeah,
but no, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with his tan or sheen or whatever there, but it looks like he's had a bit of a tanning issue there. But yeah, Stan, I think he's done a great job this year. A second. I mean, what did he get? He got a really good placing in Orlando. I can't remember what that placing was, but he did very well there as well. So that's 3 shows with 3 good results.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, has he got any, apart from maybe snagging a qualification for the Olympia, is he going to prove anything more by doing more shows and then getting another 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2nd?
No.
See, I
think he's made his mark. He's made his mark this year.
Exactly.
Right? So now he needs to come back, make the improvements, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Right, okay, that's enough on Stan. So anyway, fantastic guest. It was also because the last time I had him on...
Nice guy, really nice guy.
He's a cool guy. But the last time I had him on, it was a really bad connection.
All right.
So it's nice to get him on with a nice connection.
Good connection,
yeah, and he also is... and I really... like I said over and over again, I do appreciate when the guys... either on the day of the show or the day before or the day after, they're willing to give, any time, because really the day after the show, the last thing I would be wanting to do is do an interview.
Yeah.
I'd want to be like going home or getting some food or spending some time with the loved ones, So sitting down and doing an interview for MDs is something I really do appreciate.
20 minutes, half an hour. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
What Big D in the house said.
Thank you.
Right, going to go to John Jewett, who's one of your fans now, Derek.
Yep.
So this is the picture I was talking about. I said the picture of him. Was it 10 days out? So he's 10 days out there. So that's even before, when he said, like Milos said, John Jewett didn't do any diuretics. He didn't cut water. He didn't cut sodium. He went in. Like, thing is, if you're looking like that, why do you need to?
Why do you need to?
Derek, you're just staring in disbelief, mate.
I can't believe that's him.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's the guy. And that's his wife, lovely wife, Neil Jewett on the left. She's blonde now. Yeah, so 10 days out. Look at that. Hang on a minute, she's got black hair there at 10 days out. She competed a few weeks ago blonde, so she must have dyed it black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's funny, because I saw the picture of him with this arm round this lady, and I was like...
more pictures.
I was like, who's this? Oh, of John, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look. Let me have a look. This is the video. This is the video from him winning on the weekend. This is Lenda Murray's show. I'm going to be doing live stream with Lenda Murray in Romania in a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I love Lenda. She's 60 now.
60.
Yeah. You'd be a toy boy. Derek. So what do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, so he was 4th in the 2019 Olympia. 2020 he dropped to, I think it was 13th or 15th or something, which was absolutely disastrous for him. And he took last year off, and he's come back with a bang. He's got his first show, his first win. So that's why I said in the interview, I'm so happy to see you back, hitting the ground running, coming back with a bang, with a win. That's going to really restore your confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you think about his physique, Derek?
I think his physique is pretty good. He's got lovely legs, hamstrings there.
Look at the hams. Look at that. Yeah.
His waist is a little bit thicker on the midsection for me.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
look at the hams and the inside, the inner hamstrings. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like really, you can see the 3 cords of the hamstrings all separated.
Right. Yeah.
Nice and thick. It's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's really good.
It's good.
Nice to see him, like I said, back to his best, because you don't want to see these guys do really well, win shows, get 4th at Olympia, and then they kind of just drop off and fade away. No. So usually it's injury or something that happens, or sometimes they, like I said, to come to be 4th in Olympia the next year, you get 15th or 16th or 13th. I think it was 13th or 15th. For that to happen, many bodybuilders just think, do you know what? I had my one good year. This has knocked me back. I can't recover from this. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna try and hope that people remember the 4th and not the 15th. You know. So anyway, we're just showing that same video over again.
Brilliant.
So so it's and like I said, J3 University. Check it out, guys. It's he's so, look at the traps. Look at that. He's so knowledgeable. He's like I said, he is like a Milos. He's like a Milos. You know, he goes into the real scientific side of bodybuilding. So here's some backstage. I always like the backstage stuff. You know, when they've got under the good lights.
He looks. Look at his waist. His waist is just so tight there. It looks.
Yeah,
blimey, flip me.
Hang on. Yeah, like it. I like the detail.
Yeah.
Look at the ham drop. Look at that. Oh, see, he knows how to pose it. Do you know how to get the ham drop out?
Well, I just push it against my other leg.
And then you flex the glute, don't you? But you don't pull on the hamstring.
Yeah.
You just let it drop. So, So you've seen enough of John? Yeah. So I love the traps. It's you can see deadlifts.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like deadlifts.
I don't like
I still never got anything out of them. I just
never done it.
So I'll show one video quickly. Hang on. This was is that the one we just showed?
Yeah, we've seen that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a different angle. I like the kind of more side on angle because it shows you the density, not just the width.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, very good. So like I said, he can shut it down now to the Olympia.
Yeah.
So yeah, there he is doing podcasts, and this is the picture. I was like, who's this woman he's got his arm around? And it is his it was actually his wife, Renee. Yeah, she's lovely. She's lovely. God, she looked incredible there. She got second there. Oh shit. She got second at the what show was it? Republic of Texas. So I don't know what Renee's doing now. He said Renee might not be competing again. Look at her. She's amazing. She's really, really good. She does, like I said, she does all the cosplay stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So I think that's how she's basically built her following, because she's actually quite well known in the old cosplay setup. God, she looks so different now.
She does, doesn't she?
No, compared to how she looked in 2021, you wouldn't recognize her now. Like, you would not believe that's the same woman. So that shows you how much. He said she's an absolute beast in the gym. He said, like, strength, endurance. He said she's an amazing training partner. Mm. But then again, like you said before, like Ronnie Coleman said with Vicky Gates, like women could be fantastic training partners.
Yep, I had a number of women training, and they were absolutely fantastic.
Really?
Never let me down. Always on time. Good. Excellent.
Lauren squatting 1 to 15 Tuesday.
Was she?
She was. I remember I said she's doing a plate. I mean, in America they have pounds.
Yeah.
So it'd be a 45 and a 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's waving there. Look, she knows we're talking about it. She's listening. And now she's squatting a 20 kilo and a 15 kilo. Like 6 reps, holding each rep at the bottom.
Full reps.
Proper reps.
Full reps.
Parallel.
All the way down.
Proper parallel.
Yeah.
None of this shitty half rep.
Yeah.
And she actually stopped every rep at the bottom of the movement at the parallel.
Yeah.
As if to say, is that
like?
And I said, okay, explode back up now. Because I was making sure that she was controlling the negative. She was coming down a bit quick. And I said, because when you get heavy, you've got to make sure it's on the neck. You don't have it too high up on the neck.
That's right.
You've got to get a tight grip. And she was letting her head drop a lot. And I said, if you let your head drop, you're back and round or flattened.
That's right.
And that's how you get problems with your spine and your lower back.
Yeah, got to keep your head up.
Yeah. Yep. So I said, look, we've got to really, I said, listen to me carefully. I said, form on squats it can go horribly wrong.
It's got to be, it's critical.
Yeah. So Tuesday, I'm going to get her under 2.
Well, I think she can do it. If she can hold it and look and talk to you, she can do it. Yeah.
So yes, that's a little tiny bikini girl.
Go on, Laura.
So right, okay, quickly go on to Milos. We're doing okay for that. In fact, it's weird because it's not actually the sun. This is our British summer, guys. This is the British summer, best day ever.
While Europe is basking in the sun, we're basking in the rain.
And we've seen all these news reports around, like all the international news about heat waves in Europe, and I'm like, well, I think you missed Yorkshire, guys.
Well, it stopped. As I said, they stopped at the boundary, didn't it? At the borders.
Did they?
Yeah, it's the heat.
Oh, well, I think they missed the memo in England. So, but honestly, this is like, well, it's 8:45, but it shouldn't. The sun doesn't go down for another hour.
Yeah.
So this is what we're basically lovely rain, and anyway, the lawn likes it anyway. So quickly, there's not much I want to show on Milos's other just to give him some acknowledgement because we absolutely love the guy. He's absolutely amazing. He's just incredible. I mean, I love the energy. I love this, if you look at his Instagram, there's so much from the past, the present, there's so much he's doing with athletes. And, Samson, we would not be seeing Samson would not be where he is today.
No chance.
Absolutely 100% without Milos.
Nope.
So it was what what he needed to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So okay, then I want to see if you can identify everyone in this picture, Derek. Okay, who's that?
Well, we've got Sean Ray, Kevin Leverett. Oh,
who's that?
At the top.
Watch it. Yeah.
Can you make it a bit bigger?
Oh yeah. I can.
My eyes are not that good, you know.
This was on an ice rink.
Is that Benu?
Yeah. Samir, still going. He was obviously 83 Mr. Olympia, 1992, still going.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? If you don't get this, you're fired.
That's Ronnie.
Yeah!
Hey!
Yeah, that was the one where the year before he was backstage doing security at the 91 Olympia. He wasn't even a pro.
No way.
And then a year later, he's there on stage next to 1983 Mr. Olympia Samir Banu competing in the Olympia. And he qualified because he won the World Championships.
Wow.
That's where he got his pro card, which was drug tested.
Yeah.
So that's another reason. 2 years before he did his first show.
Look at his chest on that.
Yeah, but 2 years later, the guy's then standing on stage at the Olympia, Derek.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get a call out. And do you know what? When I asked him, I said, what was your most significant, most memorable Olympia? He didn't say 98, his first win. He didn't say 2003. He didn't say 2005.
Yeah.
He said 1992 because it was his first one.
First time it stood up.
Because the year before, he was backstage asking for a photo, if he could take a photo with Lee Haney. And people were saying to him, you should be up there. And he went, no, I'm not. He laughed. He said, I'm not big enough. I'm not good enough to compete with those guys. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I could actually name everyone on here. This guy.
Oh, that's Vince.
Didn't fail, Vince the Prince. He was third the year before, came sixth. And you see notice the eye patch?
Yep.
That's because he was getting off the aeroplane and a bag strap hit him in the eye.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and he reckons that was what messed up his condition because he said he started stressing. This is Jose Guzman. I didn't expect you to know him. There's Milos. Look, he's got the towel because he was throwing up.
Yeah.
This was the fish story.
Oh, right, yeah.
Remember this guy? He sadly died a few weeks later.
That's
Momo, yeah. I saw him the day because the day after they were at the British Grand Prix, most of these competitors. And I saw Momo compete. It was literally just a couple of weeks before he died. I can't remember this guy's name. I think he's a Finnish bodybuilder. Do you remember this guy?
Yeah, that's, I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Porter
Cottrell,
the fireman.
That's right.
And of course we have very, very young Kevin Nevrone there.
And Sean.
Second place.
Sean.
These were actually my two favourite bodybuilders. Sean Ray and Kevin Nevrone, my two favourites. But look at Ronnie. Look at he's just like
He's in awe just looking at him, isn't it?
Yeah. 6 years later, he won the Olympia, and he just kept coming back, improve. Like you said about who were we just talking about? Was it John Jewett? No, Stanimal. Just got to keep coming back.
Keep coming back.
Yeah, keep improving, keep working. Don't complain. Just get your head down, make it work. Don't make excuses.
Yeah, it sounds like Ronnie then.
Start eating veg.
No.
Come on, Derek.
Don't eat veg.
Derek, if you want to compete again, you got to eat veg.
Guys, listen, tune in. Listen, I don't eat veg. I don't like anything green or anything like that. So give me some tips what I can eat because I don't eat veg or salad or anything like that.
Algae.
Yeah.
Algae.
I can't blend it. I can't do anything like that.
Well, Derek,
I tried it.
If Milos is going to prep you, I think he might have to have a few harsh conversations.
Guys, that Milos might be prepping me.
Are you putting the camera on yourself? Because I want people to know this.
Well, I'm saying it so they can hear.
Derek might be thinking about making a comeback. And if we can arrange it, we want to. Oh, the picture is buggering you up. Don't worry about it. And if we can, we're going to try and get Milos to coach Derek for his epic comeback. Because Derek, you competed a few years ago, and the size is all there. You just got to get Milos to dial you in and get that condition really nailed, man.
That's
for the best ever Derek we've ever seen.
That's what I need to do. I need to come back. I tell you what I'm going to focus on. I want to win the universe.
So Derek wants to win the over 50s NABA universe.
Over 50s NABA universe.
You can win that, Derek.
Well,
you can win. You could probably win class 3.
Oh, well,
Honestly,
I'm not putting anything out of reach because I know it's feasible if I can get my act together and if my work will support me.
I'll be honest. Once you acclimatise with this new work schedule and the work kind of the schedule of what you're doing every day, and you get used to that, and you get into your routine because you're very you like a routine. You're very routine based.
Yeah.
You like to be Groundhog Day.
I've been doing it from word go. So yeah,
and that suits being a bodybuilder. So your personality fits the bodybuilding lifestyle perfectly. So if Milos is the missing piece of the puzzle, like it was for Samson, for the difference between being a good bodybuilder and a fantastic bodybuilder, if someone's going to get the best out of you, it's going to be Milos. And Milos is going to get you eating veg. Moving on.
Did you hear that there was a pause there?
So anyway, we'll watch this space, but this has been announced now. It's out there in the ether,
Yep,
Derek.
It's out there.
So let's see what we can organise. Anyway, so that's quickly. I want to show Milos there. Let's quickly go to, because obviously it was the Chicago Pro yesterday. It's Wednesday by the time you're watching this. God, it's getting dark. I don't understand why it's so dark. It's so weird. Anyway, you can still see me. Let's quickly show... God, I'm getting really hungry now. I'm actually going to cut it short because I'm that hungry right now. So this was Carlos Thomas Jr. This was the guy that we were talking to about Milos. I mean, look at that. Look at the legs, Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. He hadn't competed as a pro yet. So this was look at the hams.
Because it tries them, man.
Derek, look at the Derek.
Yeah, look at the hang on. Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, I mean, to me, he does look 4 weeks out. Oh, wow. 4 weeks of really, really hard. I just hope he can get crisp enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the guy with that much muscle, if he's not crisp, they just look like a big block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like a curse having that much muscle. But yeah, I'm like you. I mean, the back looks good. We saw the rear lat spread, didn't we?
Yeah,
Milos showed us on his phone.
Yeah.
But
who's he coached by again?
This guy is Andrew Vu, I believe.
Okay.
He used to be coached by Patrick.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, but now he's switched to, I think it's Andrew. I'm sure it's Andrew Vu. I apologize if I'm incorrect, but I'm sure I saw on his Instagram, prepped by Andrew Vu. But I mean, 4 weeks, if he can do everything he needs to do to get that water and fat off in the next 4 weeks, I mean... That shredded, that's going to go up against Andrew Jackson, Hunter Labrada.
He's going to turn some heads.
Exactly. But I mean, what a fantastic newcomer to the sport, eh?
Oh, definitely.
You know? So he gets...
Now, come on, all you guys who've got pro cards.
Yes.
Right? All you guys who've got pro cards, come on, we want to see you start competing. I don't know why you turn pro and not doing anything
Stop
with it.
fannying around and get your asses on stage. So, right, my energy's starting to go down now as well, so I think I need to wrap it up. So here we are, Justin Shah yesterday, winning in his pro debut.
Yeah.
John De La Rosa, 3 years away, made his comeback. He took third place. We had Stanimal, who we had in this episode. He was third place. John La Rosa was second place. Fourth place was Blessing Awadibu, who just a little lacked a bit of condition in the legs. Got to be honest. Patrick Moore, fifth place. He was 10th place at the 2019 Olympia. Looked very good. Iron Gawley, I don't know much about this guy, but at sixth place, I like this guy's physique, and I would love to get him on Global. So, guys, if you're watching, or if you're watching yourself, Aaron, we'd love to get on Global, and I will be DMing you in due course.
Reach out to us.
So I need to blow my nose as well. I've got that Vicks stuff up my nose. It clears your nose. So my ears and my nose are all blocked. So there must be something I'm eating or not eating. Right, okay. I'm going to show, so this was some of the pictures from yesterday. So see, Blessing.
Yeah.
Needs a bit more sharpness in the legs. So this was fourth, and see, even the face, look, Derek, you can tell.
Yeah.
If I saw him at check-in, straight away I could tell he wasn't in shape.
Yeah.
Because you can tell by the face.
Yeah.
I mean, there's...
it's not drawn in, is it?
No. So he needs to be... But the thing is, this is the first show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the right coach, or if he can really, really knuckle down, 3-4 weeks, he could get in shape.
Oh, yeah.
Good enough to do better and look better than he has here.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes, some guys, they start off slow. Oh, his video. See, the legs, they've got to be shredded. Because he doesn't have the biggest legs, Derek.
Yeah.
So they have to be deep separated. Same with Patrick as well. I mean, those legs are soft. Like, I wouldn't get on stage with my legs that separated. I wouldn't. I mean, that's how I like my legs to look 4 or 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
To be honest. Hang on. So, I mean, that's not good enough. That's not good enough to bring to a pro stage.
Not for a pro stage.
No. I mean, Blessing's abs as well. He looks soft here.
Yeah.
I don't understand. If you're coaching yourself, surely you'd have someone to look at you and say, "Hey, Derek, what am I looking like?" You'd be like, "Giles, you've got very little condition of separation in your legs. You really need to up your game. You've got 3 weeks of the show. Get your arse in gear."
I like his shoulders though.
Ooh, Blessings.
This guy.
Patrick.
Yeah,
the shoulder width.
Is it?
This Patrick Moore. This guy.
No, the other guy.
Oh, Blessing.
Oh,
you like Blessing? Yeah, he's got nice wide shoulders,
he's
hasn't he?
got broad shoulders and nice delts, nice tie into the traps and everything. Yeah. I do like that.
He's good. I mean, the thing is, when he won the New York Pro last year.
Yeah.
He won the Indy Pro last year. I mean, when he's on. I mean, his front lat spread, I remember seeing the pictures from the Indy Pro when he was next to Charles Griffin.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked absolutely tremendous.
Look at that. Look, see, just that look there. As it's just moving. Wow. Traps.
Nice.
Traps, delts. Wow.
Yeah, so everything's there, blessing. You just got to dial it in, mate, and get yourself, nice and dry and crispy and separated. Because the thing is, he's not the biggest guy as well, so he's got a crazy structure, but
But
so
he's got a lot of muscle.
He has.
He's got a lot of muscle.
He's done well. He's done well as a pro. He's won, like I said, he's won 2 of the 2 shows last year. You don't win 2 pro shows by.
No.
This was John De La Rosa. Very happy to see him back after 3 years away.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a really successful comeback. Coming back second place. He could have won it. No one would have argued. Right. Okay. So that's. I think, to be honest, Derek, that's.
So we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, that's all it's wrapped up. Okay, I think I'm absolutely starving, Derek, and I think we need to get some chicken.
Yeah.
But also, guys, do not the latest issue of MD with Logan Franklin there on the front cover. Absolutely fantastic issue. Some really good stuff in there. Some great features as always. So check that out if you can get yourself a copy. As always, Derek, big thank you to my main man, Derek Clark, in the house. Thank you so much for helping me out, mate. And I've really enjoyed today as well.
Look at that. I need some more lights in here.
But I didn't expect it to get this dark. So I thought it'd be finished by early because obviously Milos. I mean, I should have known really that Milos would have gone on and on and on and on. But I mean, I'm not complaining because that guy could talk forever, and it's because it's all completely gold content as far as I'm concerned.
So is it? It's packed, energy packed.
Right, Derek, before I can actually not speak anymore because my ears and my nose are so blocked, I will say farewell to our beloved MD Glow Muscle viewers. So, okay then, guys. Also, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And that is all, my friends. With my main man, Derek Clark, in the house, I'm Giles Thomas. As always, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out.
We're out. Have a blessed week, everybody.